is an example that the Department of Justice is weaponized against people that
In the 70s?
do something in life.
Before he was in any office at all, he was never didn't do anything before he was president. He was just a rich person. Like, the DOJ were the DOJ weaponized against what? Rich billionaire real estate people? What?
Because
If Kamala Harris did anything close to this, if Kamala Harris had 3 children, or what, 5 children with three different wives, and cheated on one of them with a porn star, what?
Not a yes or no question.
It is a yes or no question. I asked you yes or no. It's very direct. Yes or no.
Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to force me into a yes or no question when I can't even respond to the claims that you've made.
No, you're dancing around the question because you don't want to answer it because it's going to make you look bad.
So if the
I think that one actually looked like she wanted. She didn't keep interrupting him. I know, it's wild.
It's not patriotic.
Everyone, in this not panel, which in this debate circle jerk is so allergic to answering questions or engaging with hypotheticals. One of the TikTok debaters that debated Charlie Kirk did his own episode of The Surrounded. Can one woke teen survive 20 Trump supporters? Let's see. Listen, I haven't seen much from Dean, but from what I saw in the Charlie Kirk interview, he seemed relatively skilled. So.
Why I say Harris would be better than Trump. The first category is character.
Speaking of which, if we're bringing up stuff from the past, we can say she slept with Willie Brown, broke up a family just to get her job.
She got 4.5 million.
Willie Brown was already, I don't know if he was formally divorced, but he was already separated from his wife. Usually the allegation is just that she slept with him to get something in her political career, not that she broke up a family. But all right.
Million votes
That's a
getting
great
AG
start.
and DA and slept with 0 of them.
You don't know
How
that,
do you feel
though.
about Donald
Do you know
Trump?
that? No.
Okay,
Absolutely
so
not.
you think that she slept with 4.5 million people to get in her
she
position of
could've,
power?
But the one
Wait,
person that
are
she
you
did
serious?
was the most important person.
Did you just say that she had to sleep with 4.5 million?
No.
My name is Dean Withers. I'm a 19-year-old liberal. I do political debate for a living, and today I'm surrounded by 20 Trump supporters.
Damn.
My first claim is Donald Trump is a racist.
Oh, are we doing? Do they make them do culture war shit? All Charlie Kirk does is culture war stuff. But I mean, I don't know. This could be interesting. It's just not super relevant to me whether Trump is a racist. Unfortunately, he's done many worse things at this point. Oh, only one person who wants to do it. Damn.
Yeah, so I don't understand how people get this idea that Trump is racist. My family came from a communist country. They came from Cuba, and they came from Mexico. So I don't see anything or any statement that he's ever made that's racist. I mean, there's accusations, but there's no facts behind it. And this whole idea that all Hispanics are illegal immigrants and they came here undocumented is not true, because my family came here on both sides through the legal immigration process, not illegally here.
Okay, so that was a bold claim. You just said that, there's no facts to substantiate the idea that Donald Trump is going to be a racist. So in the 1970s, there's civil litigation held against him by the DOJ, the state of New York, for
Trump
literally
hotel.
not renting to black people. What they did is they'd send in, quote unquote, testers to his rental properties at the time. They'd send in a white person. The white person would ask the property manager if they had any available properties to rent. They'd say, yes, here we go, here's a housing application. Then they'd send in a black tester that asked the same question, and then they'd actually be denied. When this was investigated by the DOJ, the property manager told them that this was just a quote unquote order from the higher up, from this boss, from Donald Trump. And then they investigated Donald Trump, brought civil litigation against him, and they essentially determined that, he wasn't renting to black people, in which he then had to promise the DOJ that he was no longer going to racially profile in his housing application, and even had to put ads in the New York newspaper.
So basically,
I didn't know that part.
So
That's
what you're
awesome.
saying is basically he's not renting to black people, but yet he employs a lot of minorities. He employs a lot of blacks, Asians, Hispanics.
Yeah, he employs illegal immigrants too. So
onto his staff. So why wouldn't he be renting to black people? That doesn't make any sense. Also,
Because
seems
it's
to
an
me
example of racism.
But also is an example that the Department of Justice is weaponized against people that
in the 70s.
do something in life.
Can you give me any evidence for that?
I'll give you evidence of that. Yes, I will.
Wait, what? Wait, why is he? No, you're talking about the case in the 70s right now. You're saying that the DOJ was weaponized against Donald Trump in the 70s before he was in in any office at all. He was never didn't do anything before he was president. He was just a rich person. Like the DOJ, were the DOJ weaponized against what? Rich billionaire real estate people? What?
Because Trump was political for a very long time. He made political statements. He was very unpopular with a lot of Democrats. He would say things that they didn't like, and they would
In the 70s?
go after him. They would weaponize the Department of Justice,
Wait, but that's
just like they
just
are
claiming
right
the
now.
evidence
They're
with that
weaponizing
shit.
the Department of Justice against him.
Wait, what year is it? Who was even president at the time? Was it a Democrat or Republican?
They're
Like,
using the government for their political power to go
Would it have
against
been
him
Nixon?
because they disagree with his political opinion. That's what they do. The Democrats have been going after him for years, even considering he used to be a registered Democrat. So I don't believe that Trump is racist whatsoever. I don't see that because I see his employees. I've been to a lot of his properties in the past, and I know that he hires a lot of minorities. So I don't believe that to be true.
1973.
Okay, so your claim here
that's
is that,
just-
well, he actually didn't do what the DOJ accused.
It was late 1963, just months before Lyndon B. Johnson signed a. Okay, so Lyndon B. Johnson was president. Is that when this case
him and
happened?
held him liable for doing.
Yeah, but the
this was
DOJ
rather-
says a lot of
Mind
things
if
that
I-
doesn't make it
mind
true.
If I finish real quick? So you're saying that the DOJ actually was unfairly persecuting Donald Trump, a political opponent. In the 70s, he wasn't running for any public office, so I don't know why you'd say that was a political opponent. But maybe we can look at a more intuitive example.
Well, he's made political statements in the 70s as well.
Okay,
So
yeah, okay. So your claim is that, yeah, the DOJ was unfairly persecuting him. Do you have any evidence of that?
if you go back, do you have any evidence why the DOJ was investigating him in the first place?
Yeah, because they had gotten.
No,
reports-
there's no
I-
evidence.
yeah,
though.
I
mean, the
actually do.
DOJ has
I
been
do.
an
I do.
illegitimate organization for a very long time.
Okay.
So they make a lot of
1973 when
statements,
it
but
was
it doesn't
filed.
mean that they're gonna actually did they actually go through with any?
Was it-
Nothing really happened at the end of the day. It was just a witch hunt at the
Yeah,
end
it
of
was
the day.
Nixon.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think you have any evidence for the claim that it was a witch hunt. I think that at the end of the day, this is a conspiracy theory. I think that Donald Trump
Conspiracy theory.
Mind if I finish real quick?
So, there was a Republican when he was sued for this.
Thanks. So I think that at the end of the day, this
Maybe
is gonna
New
be
York had a
conspiracy
Democrat
theory.
governor,
I
though.
think that
I
the
don't
DOJ
know.
does this. I'm sorry, that Donald Trump would perpetuate a lot of conspiracy theories. He did this with the outcome of the 2020 election. But let's look at another example that's not coming from like the DOJ or like the criminal justice system. And we're like referencing like 2012 through 2014. Donald Trump said that because Barack Obama is black, he's obviously not a U.S.-born citizen. So therefore, he
He
obviously
did not
shouldn't
say
be
that
able to
he
apply
was
for
black. He's not a U.S.-born citizen.
Well, let's talk about the birther movement, right? So I just have a quick question. Would you say trying to take
There
away
was legitimacy questioning his birth certificate.
questioning his birth
What's
certificate?
there?
What's the
There is
legitimacy there?
questioning because his family came from Kenya. How is he running for
Wait,
president?
Donald Trump's mother is a Scottish immigrant. Should we question his
True.
birth certificate?
They came here through the legal process. He didn't come here through the legal process.
Wait, so you're saying
Which
that
would
Obama's
have
parents were
disqualified-
undocumented migrants?
Which
One second, I just want to
would
clarify
have
this.
disqualified him as president.
I just want to answer a question.
Which would have
Well, I
disqualified.
want to ask you a
And
question.
Sheriff
One second, do you mind if I
Joe
ask you
Arpaio, who
one
I'm friends
question?
with, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who I'm friends with,
Why are they letting this guy speak for so long?
looked into the claims of
He's
that
getting,
birth certificate,
he's getting
and there was
destroyed.
questions
Oh, there they go. Damn.
of whether it was falsified.
Wait,
so
you-
there was
wait,
a
you actually
forgery.
believe that? You
Yes,
actually
I do believe that.
Okay,
It was
so you were
forged.
racist
Yes, I
just like
do.
Donald Trump.
I'm not racist.
Do you mind
Oh
if I-
wow, you're calling a Hispanic and a Cuban racist.
Do you mind if I,
Almost
do you mind if I
sounds
take
like
30 seconds here? All right. So first of all,
Look at that.
yes.
Another white liberal. All right.
I need to set a. I'm
Wanna
just
start
running
where you
around. I
guys
need to set an
left
actual
off?
waypoint.
Yeah, I think that hopefully we could slow things down a little bit here, have some productive conversation. So, how about I just start off by giving you my reasons why I think that Donald Trump is racist. So, with the last guy, we kind of touched on the civil litigation that was held against him in the 1970s for not renting to black people. But I want to focus upon a more like intuitive example, proponing the idea that Barack Obama was not a U.S.-born citizen. So first, I just want to ask you a very simple question. Would you say trying to take away opportunity from a black man because he's black is racism?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, yes, I do believe that.
Okay.
But I think we also have to look into what the administration when he was in office did, not what happened back in 1970 when he wasn't even in office. It was a complete different administration.
Well, this question is about character. It's not even about his administration. But what is this guy going to mention? What black employment was historically high during Trump?
Making the rules.
Okay.
When he was in office, he gave opportunity zones, gave funding to HBCUs. He also implemented the First Step Act, which I feel like liberals really focus on, like, our
What the fuck is
prison
this?
system has a
So
majority
many-
of African Americans in there. So we gave them an opportunity to get out early, to start a new life. So I think if we're going to go back and look at some stuff in the 1970s, that's not really fair because there's a lot of people on the Democrat side that have done worse things while in office. Joe Biden, who when he was a senator, pushed to get African Americans incarcerated at a higher rate. Like
Joe Biden can be racist too.
And what Trump did in office
Get fucked. I watch you die.
is help the black community
Okay, damn.
at
Well,
an exponential amount compared to all the other administrations on the Democratic Party.
Okay, so you're saying what he did in office helped African Americans more than other administrations?
Yeah.
You referenced historically black universities.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much funding he sent to HBCUs?
A decent amount. I can't give you the exact
So the
number.
exact amount was $250 million per year.
Okay.
Do you know how much Obama's administration and Biden's administration have sent?
I would like to hear.
Obama sent $1 billion a year, and Biden sent $4 billion a year. So not only did he
Oh,
decrease funding to
no.
historically black
Oh,
universities,
no.
all right, but also you referenced the First Step Act.
thanks for the sub, Nicholas. I don't know if he's watching right now. It's probably just an old sub that's looping through it. It's probably going to be more. But the one person that actually subbed that's watching right now, thank you for the sub, whoever it is.
There. How did Donald Trump influence the First Step Act to get passed?
Through Congress.
Well, how did he influence that bill through Congress?
Answer that question for me.
Because he didn't influence it. In fact, it was proposed to Congress under Obama's administration, and it was shot down. And then something else I did want to
But at the end of the day, as president, he has the ability to sign or send a bill back
I guess
to
he could have
Congress and
vetoed
signed
it.
If he was truly racist, he would not have signed it in the first place.
Okay, but
But at the end of the day, he still signed it. And he has that ability. Just like every president before, if they don't like a bill, they have the ability to send it right back to Congress, and there's congressional means to get it passed without the president's approval. But still,
need
he
two-thirds
signed it.
majority,
If he's
which
really
is
a
hard to
racist,
get,
why did he
but-
sign it in the first place?
yeah, well, I don't think that we could just ignore Trump saying that Obama isn't a U.S.-born citizen and he's probably from Kenya, right? I don't think that we could ignore.
But
like,
here's the
do you mind
thing,
if I finish here, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think that we could ignore the civil litigation against him in the 1970s for not renting to black people. I don't think we could ignore his recent comments about Kamala Harris saying that she turned black, implying that she wasn't black prior, just because he signed the First Step Act into law. Like, I understand that does do something for the African American community, but I don't think we could say because he did this one thing that all of these other examples are null and void. You also referenced Joe Biden there. I have no problem saying that Joe Biden has a racist past. And in fact, I think that's something I need to recognize and we should all recognize. But what I can't stand is when I hear people denying Trump's racism, saying it never occurred when it's so obvious.
But at the end of the day,
True. That was. He's a TikTok debater, so he's run through. I guarantee you, he's run through this exact line of argument like 100 times before. But that is an awesome answer. That is a perfect answer. Correct. Base.
I'm trying to explain right now is that Biden has signed bills into law, voted for them that hurt the community. Trump has not done anything to that extent. Sure, he says some things were maybe a little bit iffy way back. You're citing things from back in the
Something-
1970s.
The things that he's citing that Trump said happened in I think the first thing he said happened in it would be like 2015 or 2016, the Obama birtherism stuff.
That did not even have like that. He couldn't even like sign a law or anything like that because he wasn't even in office.
Damn. They didn't they didn't even wait until they said go. They were walking before. Damn.
Okay. I guess where I want to start with is looking at the actual word racist. I think nowadays it's a word that people throw around kind of like the word love. It is a very powerful word. It has a lot of negative connotation. It has a lot of power that comes with it. When I think of racist, I think of Hitler, who murdered millions of Jews. When I think of racist,
What? That's the go-to example of racism for you? I think Hitler made of Hitler obviously was a racist, but he went a step beyond that. He wasn't just a racist. He was a fascist. Like,
I think of the Ottoman Turks that murdered 1.5 million of my people. I think of that. I don't think of
you guys, what the hell is happening upstairs? Okay, I don't know what
Trump,
my family's
who
doing.
maybe he
My
said
bad.
things in the
Sorry,
past,
guys.
this or that. If we want to go about talking about saying things, Biden said Obama is one of the first mainstream blacks to be bright and intelligent. He said that you can only walk into a 7-Eleven if you have an Indian accent. He has said that if you vote for Trump over him, you're not black. He said so many
Base. The last one's base, though. I'm not a fan of these 20v1 formats. Why not? I think I don't know, they can be interesting. I didn't like that. Oh, no, fuck. I didn't like that Charlie Kirk was all about culture war stuff, but
these things in his past, and the prompt is talking about, is Trump racist? But to me, it's not about that because of how the media has displayed racism. They just focus on Trump, and it is about both sides. They don't touch upon Biden. They don't talk about Biden.
it's a good
And when you
thing.
look
I
at
would
his
say like showing
policies,
20
like,
normal people with one person in space, but it's dunking a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Jubilee does have issues sometimes with with the balancing of these. Obviously, like they got Charlie Kirk, and then they got like a ton of just like regular kids, and they only got two debaters. When if they're gonna have Charlie Kirk, they should have other debate, like professional debaters.
my friend mentioned, if Trump was a racist, he would not be passing policies. He wouldn't even give $1 to these black universities. If he truly had this, it's an intention of the heart. And I'll go out and I'll step out and say, I'm sure everybody here has said something racist in their life.
I don't like, does this guy think that in order to be racist, you have to do the worst possible racism? Like, it's not enough that like he decreased funding. He has to make it zero.
That doesn't make you a racist. It's kind of like if you weigh 400 pounds and you eat celery, you're not skinny. All these examples that you're talking about are from years and years ago. What has he done that's
It's not even true. What the fuck is this shit?
racist in the last maybe 5-10 years?
10 years ago, 2014, Trump was actively proponing Barack Obama's birther myth, the idea that he was not born in
But
the
you already
US.
said that example.
my shit's
Give me
gonna
something
break.
new, because that's
Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're asking for something in the last 5 to 10 years. That was 10 years ago. I thought that I'd just go over that again.
Okay.
Another reason why I wanted to go over that again with you is because how intuitively racist it is, right? Denying or saying that a black man should have less opportunity because of the color of his skin is very obviously racist.
When did he make that comment?
Yeah, so the whole birther myth with Barack Obama, right, essentially hoped to achieve that he wasn't born in the U.S., he was born in Kenya, and because he's not a U.S.-born citizen, he shouldn't have the opportunity to run for
president.
U.S. president. The only reason he said that is because of the color of Barack Obama's skin.
But
I would like
has he explicitly said he said that specifically because he's black, or are you just taking that assumption?
Okay, so what else? What explanation do we have here?
I've said everything I need to say. I'm waiting on you.
Okay, so I mean, well, yeah, I think that looking at Barack Obama
Uh-oh.
saying that he was born in Africa and then even denying his birth certificate from Hawaii, still like attributing his birth to Africa, I don't really see any other explanation apart from that, besides the fact that Barack Obama has black skin. And then another example
That's
from
also
like,
a comment. That wasn't a racist action. That was a comment.
Okay.
What action has he taken part in the last 5-10 years that have been racist against not even just blacks, against other races?
okay, first, I don't think that we should call like African Americans like blacks. I think that's a dehumanizing word. But second of all,
Your opinion.
You can't say
Okay,
black
okay,
on
sorry.
TikTok.
Second of all, right, even if we look at like the last month or two, I'd say that saying Kamala Harris, right, quote unquote, turned black, implying that she wasn't black prior, that's another racist comment. We could also reference that as
Because
debate.
she plays with that. One day she's Indian, one day she's black.
That's not true.
Impossible that you could be both.
Hello.
Howdy.
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
They didn't even do the 3, 2, 1 go. What?
So, you're looking back at Donald Trump's history. One thing I do want to say, I don't know if you are aware, Palm Beach didn't used to let African Americans there. Donald Trump sued the city of Palm Beach to allow black membership at
Trump was one of the first club owners in Palm Beach to open to Jews and blacks, but he did not. Need to go to
Mar-a-Lago.
court.
That is not racist. I think one of the problems that we have a lot on the left, every time there's a disagreement, we get thrown, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're this, you're that. And it dissolves the discussions that we should be having on policies. Secondly, Donald
true.
Trump worked with Senator Scott to create opportunity zones in black communities. If he was truly a racist, it's not something that he would do.
What's
So
up,
I
Golden
think the
Snakey?
whole
Welcome
premise
back.
is he's a racist, he's a sexist, takes away from policy positions that we should be discussing. If we go to the border and we talk about rapists and
What's Trump's policy on the border? Even we don't know. We don't even know what his policy is. He doesn't have one. He didn't pass an immigration bill when he was in office. He didn't do anything, bro. I guess he built what 50 miles of wall, which has not really done much.
murders, yeah, they are happening. Laken Riley is now
Uh-oh.
dead. We have 300,000 missing migrant children known.
Oh my God, that claim is so dumb. God fucking damn it. The 300,000 migrant thing, my understanding of it, I'm sure Dean will probably respond to it, is that like this is like a survey that they do where they call asylum seekers. I think it's asylum seekers that are why I'm just gonna die so I have full health. They call like asylum seekers, and if they didn't pick up the call, they would just count them as missing. An Inspector General's report found that from 2019 to 2023, ICE had not issued notices to appear in court to 291,000 unaccompanied migrant children, and 32,000 children failed to appear. Based on ICE findings, UCs who did not appear in immigration court are considered more at risk for trafficking, exploitation, or forced
sold
labor.
into the sex trade, per the last IG report.
But this is just had not issued notices to appear in court to 200,000 or almost 300,000 unaccompanied.
These are important issues. Our economy is important issues.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are you a U.S.-born citizen?
100%.
You're statistically speaking 4 times more likely to commit a violent crime than an
than
undocumented
immigrants.
migrant. So when you kind
They
of
shouldn't
virtue
be
signal
here.
on behalf of that.
They shouldn't be here.
Okay. All right.
And and my husband's an immigrant,
Okay. Yeah, but
a
then
legal
also.
immigrant
Okay.
who came here legally.
Okay, I understand.
We've got 100
Oh,
ISIS
I'm so fucked. Oh no,
in
I'm
our
never getting my
country
stuff
right now
back.
that was
Oh, no.
reported. We've got gotaways. We've got 10-day jail.
Wait, gotaways? You know who had the most known gotaways? The most known gotaways was under Trump, because Title 42 meant that immigrants knew if they tried to claim asylum, they would just be turned away. So a lot of them tried to evade Border Patrol entirely. Trump had way more known gotaways than Biden has, because there was no need to be a gotaway under Biden. Because after Title 42 ended, I think Title 42 ended under Biden. After Title 42 ended, you could just claim asylum.
Nicaragua. I've interviewed Oscar Blue, who's been through the Darien Gap 4 times. People are dying.
Okay, so you're saying that we have a crisis at the side of the border.
Well, I'm saying that you're saying that
Yeah.
Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump loves America.
Okay. Well, first of all,
And
I
he
want to.
puts Americans first.
I want to ask you one simple question first, and maybe we could get back to the prompt. Do you think that we have a crisis at the southern border today?
100%.
So you'd say that we also had a crisis at the southern border at the end of Trump's term because we have the same amount of
Actually,
daily
we have
crossings
the
crossings
are
today
back
no,
down.
we do not have
Yes,
the
we
same
have
amount
about
of crossings.
2,400 crossings
no, that is
today
not true.
than as we
That
had
is
at the
not
end
true.
of
During the last 4 months of the Trump administration, there were an average 24. Jeez, I can't. I'm busy playing Minecraft. 2,470 illegal crossings on border per day. During the Biden administration, there have been an average of 6. Well, that's during the entire Biden administration. He's just talking about the last 4 months or whatever he said, which they are back down to about 2019 levels.
Trump's
we have
term
up to
after Biden's executive
14,000 crossings a day. The Biden-Harris administration put us back into what's called the Global Compact of Migration. They are now using an app where they use our
The CBD1 app.
refugee resettlement program to fly people into our country to different states. So for you to say that
The point of that app, by the way, is to try to control. It's to try to lessen the issue. It's to try to control the flow of migrants. Into the country. Oh my God!
the
Fuck
Trump
this dude.
administration that did not have catch and release, that is not, and Biden.
By the way, immigrants are more likely to have been released under Trump than under Biden. Trump deported, I think, 49% of migrants across the border, and Biden deported 51%. So,
Put it back in, and then we also had remain in.
And that's also true for ICE, by the way. Criminals were more likely to be released under Trump than under Biden. Oh, my stuff's in a corner. Oh.
Mexico, which on day
Dude, there's not even good stuff down there. It's not even worth it.
one of Biden's administration, he wiped out.
Because it was ineffective. I mean, we could
Oh,
look
it
at.
was very
Do
effective.
you mind if I talk real quick?
It's just propaganda. It's what you've heard from CNN and MSNBC.
True.
Actually, how about I provide you a source that isn't CNN, isn't MSNBC, and it's actually a source from Donald Trump's rally. So remember when Donald Trump got shot in his ear? What did he have behind him?
It was the chart that showed the lowest crossings in
Do
history.
you mind if I talk about that chart?
I
So
have the
on
chart.
That, on
Should
the,
we bring it out?
You have the chart with you?
Yeah, I do.
Bring the chart out.
Can you have? Give me my purse, someone.
Like you have like a
No, dude, that's fucking awesome,
like you have
man.
like an actual picture of the chart.
I do.
Phenomenal. Let's look at the chart. She is prepared. This is great. Oh, it's on your phone. I thought that you had like an
Well,
actual.
it's a picture. We can hold it up to the camera if they want to see it.
Okay. Well, I mean.
Thanks for the follow, Shay Justin. Welcome to the stream.
Well, maybe we could just reference the data on that chart. So you're referencing the Remain in Mexico policy. So that was one of Donald Trump's day ones. He only had increasing border numbers until the day he signed Title 42 into effect. Year by year, they only increase.
Is
the
that
Remain
why
in Mexico policy, the wall, it was all incredibly ineffective border legislation. He couldn't get Congress together to pass anything, so then he had to reappropriate
That's
DOD
not
funds
true.
to build
This
the
is
wall.
fun.
That's not true.
This is. I died in the worst possible place.
Congress passed H.R. 2. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk since May of 2023. It was the one bill that would secure the border. Border Patrol has endorsed President Trump. Law enforcement has
Didn't Border Patrol also endorse that bill that Trump called people in Congress to tell them to not pass? Didn't they also do that?
endorsed President Trump.
Okay.
The Biden administration and the Harris administration have failed this nation, and they have allowed this invasion of our country, and Americans are dying. And sorry, these gang members should not be here.
I have a question. So would you say if we had an undocumented migrant that was like a felon, a sexual abuser, right, a violent offender, that they shouldn't be allowed in the country?
100%. None of these people should be without process.
Okay, so my question to you would be, well, then why
God fucking damn it! I need to go get stuff so I can get
do
my
you
stuff
want
back.
a criminal, felon, sexual abuser to run the country?
president.
Because I believe that we're suffering from an extreme case of lawfare, which I can prove. And,
which you can
know, when you look at-
prove.
let's take, for instance, the New York case. The one that he's going to probably go to jail for, even though he's not guilty.
The 34 felonies?
The 34 felonies that they changed the statute of limitations in order to prosecute him. That they
no, you have your
changed.
cases confused. So they didn't change any statute of
Oh,
limitations?
yes, they did.
1 second.
Oh,
I
yes,
know what
they
you're
did.
referencing. If you'll just allow
Oh,
me
yes,
30
they did.
You'll just allow me
But
30
not
seconds.
only
Do you mind if I
that-
just have 30?
Oh my God! Can he not fucking get his answer out?
30 seconds
Jesus.
for-
Well, we only have 40 seconds left.
I just
so
wanna
no,
clarify.
You can't have
They didn't
30
change
seconds. You've
it-
got the seat the whole time.
Okay,
Oh my
we have
God, she's
35
actually
seconds left.
filibustering.
What were his felonies for?
Okay, so let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the plain and
Oh.
simple fact that they moved the number 3 from Biden's DOJ to a state case. Let's talk about the fact that Mark Pomerantz, who worked in the Biden administration, basically pled the fifth 6 times when he said that he was talking to Bragg. And he would not talk about that. Alvin Bragg ran on getting Trump. Let's talk about Judge Merchant's daughter, Laura, who's making millions for the Harris administration and the Biden administration right now in order to prosecute Trump. That is recusal. It's going to get dropped at the Supreme Court. Alvin Bragg should have recused himself. Judge Merchant should have recused himself.
I like your power.
Should Alito have recused himself? Wasn't he? I think it was his wife. His wife was flying an upside down American flag after one of the rulings. I forget which ruling it was.
My next claim is Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people.
Why is it all stupid stuff like that? Just do it. Can you do Trump would cause inflation? That'd be a good one because he would. It's what all like 70% of economists say. So.
I completely disagree with you on that. That Trump doesn't. You're saying he doesn't care about the American people. I mean,
What the fuck? Adrian looks cool as shit.
while he was president, he was pushing pro-economic policies, which were furthering the American economy. I mean, right now, if you go to a gas station, you're paying more money to fill up your car. Going to the grocery
gas
store, you're paying
prices.
more for meat. You're paying more for groceries. You're paying more for a lot of things. Taxes are higher right now. So why
Taxes are higher right now. We're still under Donald Trump's tax code.
we're not completely? No, that's not true. That's not.
Dude, we're still under Donald Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and I don't know. I can't think of anything, at least, that the Biden-Harris administration did to increase taxes on middle-class people. I know they increased transfers a lot, like the expanded child tax credit. That was a refundable tax credit that gave a lot of families money. I know they increased transfers a lot. I can't think of any way that they increased taxes except for tariffs, but the tariffs have been more limited than the tariffs that Trump are proposing anyway. So
that's not true, because each individual state can impose their own taxes.
Federal taxes from the
I'm going to
federal
give you an example. In Los Angeles County, they passed all these other measures, increasing quarter-cent sales tax here in Los Angeles County. And what do they do with the money? They misuse the money. They don't even use it to fix the streets. They allocate all this funding towards the homeless, billions of dollars, saying they're going to build all these shelters.
Smucker demonstrates Biden's budget raises taxes on middle-class Americans.
They're going to build public housing, and yet all the money goes to administrative.
I don't know if they did anything to increase taxes on middle-class Americans. Even if they did, it probably is outweighed by the transfers that they did. So the net payment is probably still a lot lower.
Cost, it goes into the pension system. So they're misusing the money. They're not using the money to actually help people. So if you think about someone that's going to help people, Democrats have been promising people in the state of California that they're going to do something about the problem. Yet they have unlimited power here to do whatever they want. But yet we have thousands of homeless. The LA Times reported that there was 66,000 more homeless people in the last 7 years. That's the LA Times. That's a liberal magazine quoted. There's 66,000 more homeless people in Los Angeles County.
Mind if I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So I've a lot of reasons I'd like to bring up here why I'd say that Trump doesn't care about the American people, but you referenced his economic policy, and we could reference that. So yeah, can you name one economic policy that Donald Trump influenced to get passed that benefited the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%?
Well, first of all, the Democrats passed all these policies.
Wait, just about Donald Trump. Can you name one policy he influenced to get passed that benefits the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%?
Yeah, he tried to, or during COVID, he tried to keep businesses open. I mean, Democrats were trying to close down all their states.
Oh my God.
Can you name a policy?
Businesses that they put, no. They put a lot of businesses out of business during COVID. During the past years that COVID was in existence, all the states that
This guy has not answered any questions. He just literally any question he has, his response is just, well, the Democrats, like his brain is so broken.
Have controlled a lot of the process here in the state of California.
He literally had this is the rare case of Democrat derangement syndrome.
Like, I'll give you an example.
You didn't answer my. I'm so sorry.
In the state of California, Gavin Newsom shut down the state. Ron DeSantis did not shut down his state. Yet you have businesses here that were small that went out of business. Yet you have the state of Florida, the majority of businesses stayed in business, did not go out of business. The only businesses that went out of business, that stayed in business, were corporations like McDonald's, Burger King, and Walmart.
Okay,
so,
sir. With all due respect, you literally didn't answer my question.
The Democrats were benefiting those businesses because they were voting in favor of them.
Okay, with all due respect, you literally didn't answer my question. I asked you to name a policy that Trump influenced to get passed that benefited.
But yeah, you're the one that called me racist earlier, so I'm supposed
Did he do that?
answer you?
Okay, well, I mean, if you don't want to have a productive dialogue with me here, I don't see what your point of even showing up to.
Oh, that was so painful. Oh my God. Oh.
The episode would be.
Well, productive is not calling someone racist either, right?
Cool. Howdy.
Can I cook these?
Hi.
George.
So maybe we could go about it this way. Can I give you my reasons why I'd say that he doesn't care about the American people and get your thoughts?
Yeah, he hasn't even been able to explain it yet. You just had to listen about how the Democrats in California are bad.
Honestly, the question's dumb. The statement's dumb. Because it's one-sided.
Because no politicians care about the
and it's an
people.
opinion on what we think he believes or he feels.
So this prompt says Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. I would like to give you my reason.
Well, I'll actually answer the other thing you mentioned. A policy that Donald Trump pushed for that benefited low and middle income people.
More than it benefited the top 1%.
His tax policies. And I know this for a fact because I'm middle low income. And everyone I know that's middle low income, actually, I don't know that many. Everyone makes more money than me.
Okay. Do you mind if I?
No. The
The
only people I know of that complain about Trump's tax policies are those that make a reasonably high amount of money. There is
Wow,
nobody
great-
I know that makes
great
over
antidote,
like
buddy.
200 something K that doesn't complain about his tax policy. So I don't know what you make doing this. It's probably more than I make. I kind of wish I did what you do to a degree. But if you're making more than 200K,
Can I clap at it real
then
quick?
I'm sure you can complain, but
clap at
I'm
it?
benefiting and I make less than you probably.
Okay, so first of all, you said that Trump's tax policy benefited the low and middle class more than it benefited rich people. That claim is false. 83% of the tax cuts in the bill went to the top 1%.
According to the Center for American Progress, if the Trump tax cuts are extended to those who make $500,000 a year or more would receive the biggest benefit, while those making $50K or less per year would receive the smallest benefit.
Went to people making over $400,000
And tariffs as well are like literally the most regressive tax you can fucking do. So
a year, and it cost the American tax.
I mean, technically, I'm sure we could design a more regressive one, but they are very regressive.
Spare $1.9 trillion through debt-related spending, and it only is going to lead to an average annual GDP increase of 0.02%. Please allow me to finish. Right. So it is the case that that didn't.
However, Republicans in the House Budget Committee said the cuts increase the share of taxes paid by the top 1% of households and decrease the burden on lower income households, while raises rose by 4.9%. Oh, well, if the House Budget Committee said so. Not even the House Budget Committee, if Republicans on the House Budget Committee said so.
Benefit the low and the middle class more so than the top 1%. It only is leading to a greater income inequity.
I don't believe you, and I don't agree with you, and I've seen
so that's
no
coming.
data. I've seen no data
How
to
is
support that.
how is
Okay,
their
so that's
brain
coming
so
from the Tax
broken?
Policy Foundation. That's coming from other economic sources that we would find online to be able to distribute how much it costs. Okay. So is it all right if I give you my reasons why I'd say he doesn't care about the American people?
In 10 seconds or less.
Oh my God. Please let him speak.
Well, I mean, I feel
Please
like
just
in
let
order
him
to like
speak.
have productive dialogue, right, we have to be able to distinguish like why I believe the things that I say.
Okay.
Why you
And then I'll
disagree.
let you know why I believe the things that I do.
Okay, so the reason I'd say that Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people is because he has incessantly placed himself above the American people. One of the best
Bro.
examples of this was in 2020 when he denied the outcome of the election and then he attempted to stage
Bro.
a coup against
Bro.
our government in an attempt to rig the outcome of the 2020 election
Yes, and to steal people's votes, to go against the will of
by
people.
like sending fake certificates of ascertainment to Congress to be certified as real. That was the greatest internal attack on our government since the Civil War. Another example would be the border. He has consistently placed himself above the American people in that respect. He torpedoed Langford's bill in the Senate that would
Bro.
have specifically brought an
Okay,
end to the
so-
crisis 2 years ago
Okay, you've got
because he
three-
didn't want to give the Democrats a win.
Let's slow
and then
down.
Another example.
Wait,
would
no. Let's slow down
Oh my
because you
God.
just put out so much. And let's
He put out
unpack
2
that a little
points.
bit.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the first thing that one thing I would like to say, does Donald Trump care about the American people? Donald Trump went to East Palestine. Joe Biden waited 6 months.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Donald Trump went to the military families of the soldiers that were killed at Abbey Gate. Joe Biden forgot their names.
Well, his brain is melting,
Donald
can't really
Trump
fault him.
went and visited the people whose families were killed by migrants that were criminals. Joe
Biden
Biden
mispronounced
won't
Lincoln
mention
Riley's
their
name.
names.
He mentioned Lincoln Riley. He just mispronounced her name, and everyone was fucking asthmatic about it.
Donald Trump let me, an average American citizen, go to his house 3 times.
Okay, do you mind like responding to my reasons?
What?
Okay, let's start with reason 1.
Cool.
Every election in history has had challenges, including Bush v. Gore. There have
Trump's way of challenging it was a little bit different, just a little bit, you know.
always been alternate electorals.
Not true at all.
I believe that January 6th helped Democrats well more than it ever did Republicans. You know why? Because it stopped the debate on the floor. And I, as a Republican, wanted to see that debate on the floor that day. I had problem with the elections. In 2022, my son's vote didn't arrive and I was a candidate.
Okay, I just want to clarify. So you do affirm that Trump sent fake slates of electors to 7 different states.
They
to
were
cast
not fake. There's always alternate slates of
They were not
electors in
fake?
every single
That is
Might as well might as well be woke liberal versus 20 Facebook posters. Literally.
not true. That is not
That is true.
That is not true.
That is true.
Could you
I
give me
worked on the Ron Paul campaign.
Is it possible?
When you were like 5.
Is it possible
this
that
has happened
Okay.
all the time?
She's literally. I don't know how she unironically believes this. This is just a like Facebook poster thing. She's literally just seeing misinfo on Facebook and is like blatantly repeating it. Like,
Yeah, could you give me another example of a sitting U.S. president not agreeing with the outcome of the 2020 election, then going to the DOJ? Trump told Bill Barr to announce widespread voter fraud when there wasn't any.
They didn't investigate it. They didn't investigate.
There's nothing to investigate. How do you investigate something that didn't happen? Like,
Every single case was.
He took 64 cases to court and only won one of them. Like,
every single
court cases
that were dismissed on standing
because they didn't have sufficient evidence.
No, because they.
First of all, yeah, a lot of them were dismissed on standing, but like that's because these were like frivolous lawsuits that obviously that even the people who filed them were going nowhere. Like these were obviously just an attempt to really, it was an attempt to hopefully have open litigation on January 6th so that they could have more justification for delaying the certification of the vote. But like A, that, and then B, they even in a lot of these cases that were dismissed on standings, they did look at the merits and they determined that the merits were shit. And it's also like not like the DOJ investigated, but like so did like media organizations like AP put out like their investigation into it, and I think they found like 400 fraudulent votes in the like entire. I don't know if it was in the entire election. I think it was in all the swing states. Yeah, like.
The judges said they never saw the evidence.
Okay, I'm going to go to tell you what happened with the 2020 election. So
okay,
Donald Trump
you're going to tell me what you think happened, but I'm going to tell you that you're wrong.
Okay, one moment, ma'am. Donald Trump formed an election integrity committee where he appointed his people and gave them millions of.
He should drill down on the fake electors thing, but I don't even know how you would do that. It's the thing, because like usually like what people mention is like the 1960 case in Hawaii, which is a obviously very different thing. Those weren't fake electors; those were alternate electors appointed by the state legislature because it was a close race and they needed to do a recount. Versus Trump just had random people assembled to be his fucking fake slate of electors who are not certified by the state. They were doing this funny thing called perjury, and they are now being charged for it. But she just seems retarded. Like, I don't know how you would ever. I don't think she could be convinced, at least not in this conversation, that Trump's electors were fake, and there haven't really ever been other fake electors before.
What's happening
you mind
now?
if I finish?
No, I do mind because you
okay,
know
ma'am,
what?
If you can allow me to finish, we can't have a productive conversation
Well,
here.
we can't have a productive conversations when you have an entire 20 minutes and filibuster the whole thing.
Okay, well, if you want to talk, go ahead, but you're not allowed.
I feel like he's been filibustered way more than he's ever filibustered, but all right.
Me the time to demonstrate why I believe in what I do.
Okay, but you're not allowing me to say basic fact of what has happened in this instance. Every person that runs for election has the opportunity to challenge an electoral process.
And Trump did that. Trump did that and he lost. Like he did that with his 60 fucking court cases, and then he lost. And then instead of giving up at that point, he resorted to criminal conspiracy. That's the whole issue.
That is not illegal. What's happening now is you've got attorneys that were looking into the election fraud, which the Biden DOJ is now prosecuting.
And Trump's own attorneys didn't find any evidence of election fraud. There's that book written by one of them, Disproven, the guy's honest search for election fraud. Like he was hired by Trump to find election fraud, and guess what? He didn't find any. Like
having their law licenses removed. We are watching communism in live action, and you know what?
Communism is when Giuliani is disbarred for filing frivolous lawsuits and repeatedly lying about the 2020 election.
I want you to have a future.
Can you define communism?
Yeah, basically.
What a dumb point to drill down on.
It's mob rule. It's Marxism. It's mob rule. It's
false. Literally all wrong. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society.
Okay.
Welcome in. Doing all right.
Trump's administration versus Biden's, objectively 2016 to 2020, and then under Biden so far, up to date. Objectively, the economy.
Is that defo of communism, right? Well, people disagree, but like, I mean, yeah, I would. Obviously, fucking leftists can agree in it. You should not expect people to ever agree on a definition of communism, but that is how many people define it. Yes.
Economy was better under Trump. Inflation was.
Not true. Real GDP is higher than pre-COVID projections. Look it up. Look up real GDP higher than pre-COVID projections. Get fucked.
Besides, I believe 9% under Biden. It's destroying the middle class, and then it's also putting people in more poverty.
We had the best COVID recovery in the entire world by a wide margin. It's so unbelievably stupid.
So how does that make Trump not be in support of American people if it's breaking down the middle class, putting people in more poverty?
Yeah.
So things.
Has poverty even... I'm pretty sure poverty decreased because the things that caused inflation was the government spending. That government spending decreased poverty. Things like the child tax credit were inflationary because you're giving people money. You're literally giving people free money. That's going to cause inflation. But also, it's going to reduce poverty. I'm pretty sure the child tax credit reduced child poverty by like 40%. And I'm sure the other transfer payments also reduce poverty.
In the grocery store are 4 times higher to pay for. People are having harder time to put food on the table for their families.
Yeah.
During the Biden administration versus Trump. So I want you to
Of course.
explain.
Well, let's start off here. Do you think that
Government transfer easy stimulus payments or expanded unemployment insurance increase total income among low-income families, buffering families against hardships and declines in expenditures? I'm just curious. I'm pretty sure actually estimates put it at It's hard because because there was COVID, right? So like, if we didn't do these payments, I think the estimates I've read say like if we didn't do these payments, we would have like 11 million people would have fallen into poverty. So these payments like prevented 11 million people from falling into poverty. But I don't know if it lifted people out of poverty. I don't know how many people there were that were in poverty that were given payments and then were lifted out of it. I'm assuming there were some, at least, probably a decent amount, probably a few million, but a lot of it was more preventative rather than like actually aimed at reducing poverty. So
the Biden-Harris administration caused inflation?
Yeah, because under Trump's administration and the policies he induced, inflation was never that high.
Okay.
And then after COVID hit and Biden's administration took over, everything skyrocketed. Gas prices, grocery stores, everything.
Your argument here is because it happened in the country while they were president, they caused it. So my question to you is, did Donald Trump cause the highest rate of unemployment that we've had since the Great Depression in August of 2020 at 14.8% simply because it happened under his administration?
No, simply because people couldn't leave their home, which was, causing people to
And now we're introducing external variables. So in the same way COVID caused, right, that high rate of unemployment that we had under Trump's term, COVID also caused the global inflation that we saw onset at the beginning of the Biden-Harris administration. This didn't happen locally in the U.S. This inflation happened all around the globe.
Worldwide. And we have way higher GDP growth than everyone else.
But a fun fact here, the Biden-Harris administration actually ushered in the quickest response from the inflation onset by the pandemic out of any other country in the G7.
True.
I had another point, which was that.
Appreciate you for coming up, man.
What I've noticed, because I work in retail for some seasons and I've seen a huge bloodshed of Colombians coming in. Okay, we just got to be really realistic here about the economy. So yes, I think that kind of blaming causation and kind of correlating that to the current president, it's a little bit of a slippery slope. However, I think that when you look at the border and the way that everything has been coming in with migration, of course that the economy became better. Why? Because a lot of Colombians came in, right? And they started working and they started inputting more taxes. All these fake socials that they get, they start contributing to the tax money. They pay more taxes every year, and the government basically hides this by grabbing an app, and they basically use that as an ankle bracelet replacement so that people don't find out. Instead of putting an ankle bracelet on people's ankles, they hide the fact that they're allowing all these illegal immigrants come in. So the economy has become such a success, per your statement that it's been a success in the last 4 years, because all these immigrants have been contributing to the tax.
Was that a bad, the economy is good because of immigration. Okay? Good?
Dollars that the government has been wanting. And so hence Medi-Cal.
So you'd agree that immigration is good for the economy?
The immigration issue is they're being paid less money than the average salary. So I don't understand how that.
There's like a house I was at some point that has a bunch of stuff in it that I wasn't able to bring back, and I don't remember where it is.
It's good for the American people. I think that if you can properly execute someone immigrating into this country legally and doing it rightfully and everything, like
So true.
yes,
We
you
should
can manage
expand
the amount
legal
of-
immigration.
The amount of
Hey, by the way, remember when Trump had to back down on giving college graduates green cards because Republicans got as mad about it? Like, why should I have any faith that Donald Trump is going to expand immigration, legal immigration, when he's so restrictive on immigration? He won't even allow high skill immigration. He won't even allow green cards to college graduates. Like, what?
the way the economy is working.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit confused on what you just shared with me, but we have a problem, and that is undocumented migration, correct?
Yes.
This is another reason why I say Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. Because Donald Trump,
Well, if he cared
mind
about,
if I finish?
Go ahead.
Because Donald Trump doesn't care about the southern border. I have a question for you.
Okay.
If your house was burning down and a fire truck showed up to put the fire out and you told them to turn around because you wanted the insurance money from letting it burn, did you care about your house?
Of course.
No. The idea would be if you let the house burn down to get the insurance money, you wouldn't care about your house. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, right? So when we have a crisis
I think he probably just misspoke or misunderstood
at the
question.
southern border, and we have the fire truck, or in this case, right, an amazing border bill that would have ended the crisis years ago, proposed to Congress by Langford, a Trump-endorsed Republican, and then Donald Trump turns around and calls up the Republicans in the House and the Senate and tells them to vote against the bill because he doesn't want to give the Democrats a win, and he wants the ability to be able to campaign on the crisis at the southern border now. Does Donald Trump care about the southern border?
So basically what you're doing is you're trying to attack and kind of deflate the right?
My family
But
is
at the
so
end of the
loud
day,
right now.
we got to realize that no side is potentially perfect, because clearly the Democrats are going to see that the right are horrible and the right's going to see that the Democrats are also
But do you mind answering the question there? Because I did make an important point there that I don't think should go unnoticed, right? In the same way in the hypothetical, if you let your house burn down and told the fire truck to turn away, you don't care about the house. And if Donald Trump
Don't worry, you can't hear it. Yeah, it should be fine. It's just, I can hear it through my noise-canceling headphones. I don't really, it won't matter too much if you guys
lets
can't
the
hear
crisis
it,
at the southern border continue and tells like the Republicans in the House and the Senate to turn the border bill around in 2022, he doesn't care about the
I don't
southern
think,
border.
Look, the border's always going to have a crisis. There's human trafficking constantly. If you look at the narcotics, if you look at
The border's always gonna have a crisis. Oh, okay. Then why even bring it up? Okay, it's fucked no matter who's president. What, like
all these drug dealers that are coming in, right?
Hi, thanks for coming up, man. What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan, nice to meet you. Dean. We have 3 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock here. I would like to bring up a huge reason why I'd say that he doesn't care about the American people. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Cool. It's because how much he lies. Donald Trump is an
Wow.
incessant, unapologetic liar. He lied to the American public over 30,000 times while he was president. He told the biggest lie that any sitting president has ever told with the denial of the 2020 election. And what is the Achilles tendon to a democracy? An uninformed voter base. Trump has misled his voter base, has made them misinformed, has made them engage in fringe conspiratorial hearsay by his incessant lies.
Okay. Can you give me any reasons why you think Joe Biden cares about American people more than Trump?
Okay, I mean, yeah, sure.
why, dude.
First of all, Kamala Harris is running for president right now.
No, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, sure. Yeah, because Joe
It's
Biden...
the Democratic.
Of course. Because Joe Biden passed 4 pieces of monumental legislation that benefited the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%. We could talk about the PACT Act, investing $800 million into the expansion of VA healthcare benefits. We could talk about the CHIPS and Science Act, bringing 20% of the global chip production back to here at home in America by 2030. We could talk about the infrastructure bill, investing $1 trillion into local communities across the U.S., spurring their economies and creating new construction jobs. Or we could talk about the Inflation Reduction Act, investing millions of dollars into renewable energy resources to reduce inflation in the long term by addressing supply chain issues now. Those are 4 big policies that I would say demonstrate Biden's care for the American people.
Okay. 4 years ago under Trump, did you see benefits going towards immigrants and wars more than American people?
Did we see? No, and we don't see that now either.
Oh, we don't see it now?
No.
Bro. I
What the
moved
fuck
in
is
from
this?
Chicago, and 4 years under Trump, I wasn't seeing immigrants sleeping outside of police stations, gathered in gangs, and
We
doing
said
drugs
benefits
outside
going to immigrants,
police
right?
stations, living in high-rise hotels, getting benefits.
Oh, if you're just there's more
getting
immigrants
money,
coming into our country now than
getting
there was
free
under
money.
Trump's term. That's true.
But earlier, didn't you say it was the same?
Oh, no.
Well, by
I
now
said
it's
it's the
back
same
down.
right now. So after Biden's executive order on the border, we have the same amount of daily crossings today across our southern border as we had at the end of Trump's term.
At the end of Trump, it was more.
Yeah, it was the same or more at the end of Trump's term.
You literally just said we have more immigrants coming in now.
Okay, so over the 4-year presidency of Biden and Harris, there has been more migration.
Why is this guy here? I don't think. I'm sure this guy, in many aspects of his life, is perfectly intelligent, but I don't think he. He's not a. He doesn't seem to be able to follow political conversations very well.
Across the southern border because of the revocal of Title 42, causing a surge of entries into our country. After Biden's
That was
executive
not
order,
going on during Trump. Am I right?
Yeah, right. So we had lower crossings under Trump, but I don't think we could say because there's lower crossings under Trump than under Biden and Harris that Biden and Harris caused that. Let me ask you a question, or more so make a statement. I'd look at the southern border like a river, and I'd look at Title 42, what was enacted at the end of Trump's term because of COVID, like a dam. As soon as that dam is lifted from the river, the water gushes through, just like when Title 42 was reversed and all these people that have been turned away for the last 2 years that are coming to our country because of economic disparities onset by COVID in their own, rushed into our country.
Okay.
I'll actually erase that time.
Sorry, I
There's
just
only
had
16
to
seconds
very
left.
quickly.
So.
The one thing that I look at that shows how he cares for the American people is that he's a multi-billionaire that chose to
What?
run for president, and he's one of the only presidents that's net worth has actually gone down. If he didn't care for the American people, why would he even go out of his way, lose his worth to run for president?
Great question. And here's
He didn't put his businesses in a trust though, like Jimmy Carter did, right? So.
what I'd say. I'd say that Donald Trump has billions of dollars, literally speaking. He doesn't care about money. He wants something else. He wants power, right? And being able to force himself into the highest position of ranking power in the world is a big deal. And that's what he wants. He doesn't really care about the American people, or else he would have enacted legislation for the low and the middle class, or else he would have not tried to over. Okay.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Stray Arrow News.
Fuck your sponsor.
Spoke with us.
Much better president.
Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is Kamala Harris would be a much better president than Donald Trump.
Yes, finally, yes. Oh, damn. No one wants it. No one wants to
I don't
debate
believe
him.
that Kamala Harris would be a better president than President Trump. And the reason why I believe that is because Kamala Harris has had many chances. When she was a district attorney in San Francisco, she convicted more people of minor crimes than any other DA of San Francisco. And I know this too because I lived in San Francisco for a period of time, and I understand the criminal justice system.
It's Schrodinger's Democrat again. Are they soft on crime or do they lock up innocent black people?
To a certain extent. So Kamala Harris, if you have her as president, she's going to go after people for minor offenses. She's going to try to convict people for even marijuana, for an example. I mean, come on. Most people in this country have already been passed.
Pretty sure she said she wants marijuana to be legalized.
This whole issue with cannabis and everything. And I think that's something that now that should be overlooked, and it should be something that should be legalized on a federal level as well. But I do believe that Kamala Harris, if she convicted people of small, petty stuff like people having a minor amount of marijuana and had the highest conviction rate in San Francisco, how can you have someone like that as president? And she was also married into the Getty family. Jean-Paul Getty is an elite family in the state of California. So how is it that you're gonna say, oh, Kamala Harris is better than President Trump?
Of course. First, let's respond to a couple of your claims there. How many people did she convict? Not a clue. 45. And what did she do in 2014?
45. You're saying she convicted only 45 people of possession of marijuana?
Yes.
Well, VP Harris was San Francisco DA. Her office won convictions in that says almost 2,000 felony misdemeanor marijuana cases. 45 people were convicted and sentenced to state prison. Oh, damn.
And what did she?
That is not true. That is not true. That she convicted only 45 people.
Okay.
of marijuana. If she was a district attorney
Yes.
and she had other DAs in the district attorney's office
Do you mind if I finish talking?
prosecuting those small crimes,
Okay, sir. Do you mind if
she had more than 45 convictions in that office alone.
So yeah,
So
she only had over.
You've had a lot of time to talk. I mean, you had the whole time. I really don't have a lot of time here. But so what I'm saying
Feel
is,
like
I just want to be able to finish.
You've been talking way more than he
go ahead,
has.
go ahead. You're
Without-
saying 45 convictions, but you're not giving me facts.
Yeah. So while she was DA, it is a. Welcome in.
Hi.
Hi. So, do you mind if I give you my reasons why I think that Harris would be a better president?
If you want.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome
so
debate.
There's two.
I love its argument so much. They're like blaming her for planting weed and making it illegal. She literally did her job. Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's so dumb. And it's also Schrodinger's Democrat. Like I said, it's like people make fun of San Francisco for legalizing shoplifting or stuff. Democrats are weak on crime. But they're also going after Kamala Harris hardcore for her convictions on small petty crime or whatever. Like, oh, okay, well, which one is it?
Two main categorical reasons why I say Harris would be better than Trump. The first category is character. The second category is policy. Let's
This bridge is awesome.
start off
man.
with character. First of all, Trump is a sexual abuser. Trump is a felon. Trump is a fraudster. Trump is an election denier. He's a dictator on day one, wannabe fascist. Okay? Kamala Harris is none of those. Kamala Harris wants to protect and preserve a democracy. She wants to fight for the freedoms of all Americans, especially the 170 million American women and girls. And then we could reference policy next. If you want to respond to character, go for it. If you want me to hop straight into policy, I could do that too.
Well, starting with character, I technically do not think she's a good person. Speaking of which, if we're bringing up stuff from the past, we can say she slept with Willie Brown, broke up a family just to get her job. And while she was there, she used a firm that was putting people in jail that had false positives on drug tests, and she knew they had false positives. She admitted to that.
I haven't heard this claim before. The claim about the breaking up the family thing was in the intro, and like I said, she did not break up a family. She did sleep with Willie Brown or whatever, but he was already separated from his wife. Why can't I eat pumpkin pie?
And she was still putting mainly black and brown people in jail, considering I'm both. That is very much a big issue for me. And also that a woman shouldn't represent, they should just sleep to the top for their job. They should actually work hard for it. I generally don't think that she's a good representative. There's plenty of other women out there.
Yeah, I have a
that
question. How many votes did she get in her run for AG? Do you know? Now, how many votes did she get
We're
in her run?
talking about character, though.
Of course.
That's
We'll talk
character
about
and morals.
We're-
And
we'll-
if we're
that's-
mentioning character and morals here, she's clearly not a good person.
I'm responding to your
just
claim.
like you had mentioned all that stuff about Trump, which could be true.
I'm
She's an
referencing your claim that
adulterer
she-
and
Could be true.
a family
I'm
homewrecker.
referencing your claim that she slept to the top. How many votes did she get when she was running for AG and DA in the state of California?
But that has nothing to do with the fact
It does. She got
slept with someone.
4.5 million votes in total. 80 million for her run for AG or DA. I don't remember which one. And then 4.4 million for the other one. I have a question. You're saying that she slept her way to the top. How many of those 4.5 million people that voted for her did she have to sleep with?
Well, obviously we're in California, and this is pretty corrupt, but to say that she needed the votes of most people that matter, which is the person she slept with, could actually overturn and hide these votes just like they did with the election. But
Listen,
What? They not only are they rigging the presidential election, they are rigging attorney general elections. Back in when did she run for DA? Like for 20. It would have to be the early 2000s, right? It would have to be like 2005 or something.
The idea that women have to sleep with men to get into positions
And that's
of power
exactly what she
is
did.
a
It's
misogynistic
exactly what
lie.
she's exonerating.
One moment.
She's saying that
Do you mind if I finish
that
talking real quick?
we have to open our legs to get jobs. That's exactly how she used it.
Do you mind if I just finish talking real quick? Also, I would like to finish out this conversation. There's a lot of red flags up, though. So saying that women have to sleep with men to get into positions of power is a misogynistic lie. What
I
you are
didn't say
doing?
that. She just
one
did
moment.
that.
One moment.
That's what she represents.
What you are
That's all I'm
doing?
saying, guys.
What you are doing is you are taking Kamala Harris. You are taking her character. You are taking her proposed policy. You are taking her intelligence, and you're taking her wisdom, and you're throwing it out of the window. Because when you say that the
You did the
only
same thing
reason
with
she's
Trump.
in her position of power today is because she slept with a man that had been legally divorced for 3 years, is a lie.
didn't.
Oh, they were actually already legally divorced. Damn, I didn't know that.
4.5
While
million
he was
votes to get into AG and DA and slept with 0 of them. The question I have for you,
Oh, you don't
is
know
how
that,
do you feel
though.
about
Do
Donald
you know
Trump?
that? No.
Okay,
Absolutely
so
not.
you think that she slept with 4.5 million people to get in her
she
position
could
of power?
have, but the one
Wait,
person that
are
she
you
did
serious?
was the most important.
Women these days be sleeping with 4.5 million people.
Did Did you just say that she had to sleep with 4.5 million
No,
people?
I didn't say that. I said that she slept with one of the most relevant people to get her job,
was his
to
name?
get in. Willie Brown.
And how
I
did
just said
sleeping
that
with Willie Brown get her the 4.5 million votes in her run for
because
AG&DA?
he was in the same position she needed to get.
But we have civil and electoral processes. We are a constitutional
honor
republic
those?
with democratic processes. Yes, I do. And you're saying that she somehow circumvented these civil and electoral processes?
I don't hate women, guys. Just letting you know.
I hate women.
Welcome down. I would really like to see if we could have a productive conversation about this point.
Well, I just want to start off by saying that you seem to attack Trump for his character, but then when Kamala is attacked for her character, it doesn't matter.
So why do you think that Kamala Harris is a bad person?
For reasons that have been stated.
Can you repeat them?
She's slept with people to get up to her ranking. She hasn't really done all too much as.
Why does it wait, dude? Again, at worst, at the very worst, she slept with one person to get onto 2 boards that it's not like she was even unqualified for them. She had already been deputy district attorney for San Francisco. She was qualified to be on those boards. At worst, she slept with one person, not multiple people, to get onto the unemployment insurance appeals board.
Vice President,
really?
in my opinion.
I would like to say that is false. She's passed more tie-breaking votes in the Senate than any VP in American history. She's also helped the Biden-Harris administration influence some of the most monumental legislation in modern U.S. history.
Right.
I'm going to name 4 pieces of legislation that the Biden-Harris administration influenced to get passed that benefited the low and the middle class more than rich people. And I want to see if you could do the same for Donald Trump while he was president. They influenced the PACT Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, the American Rescue Plan, the Infrastructure Bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act. If you'd like, I could explain to you how those benefited the low and the middle class more so than the top 1%.
What's
but
up,
now I'll
big
just
man?
simply ask you that
Welcome
same question.
back.
Can you name one bill that Trump influenced to get passed
Crack to
that
jump
benefited the
cat.
low and
I
middle
don't-
class more so?
Cart? Sorry, I don't know what that is. I'm behind. Am I behind on the fucking brain
than rich
rot?
people?
I really can't.
So then how could you say that Kamala Harris hasn't done anything when you know so little about what Trump did while he
Because
was president?
comparatively to what Trump has done in the past,
You
she
can't
really
name
hasn't
anything
done
Trump
that
has
much.
done.
I just told you 4 pieces of monumental
You told
legislation
me
that she did influence to get passed that were beneficial.
Beneficial, but not quite to what Trump did.
Well, you can't even tell me what Trump did. I asked you. You couldn't
I know,
tell
but
me.
you can just tell from when he was president that it was just
Trust is
it was way
confusing.
better. And Kamala's been hiding and probably
I can
puppeteering
after this.
to Biden. You can't deny that.
Do you see how that's just a conspiracy theory?
I know it's a conspiracy, but the evidence is kind of there.
Okay, so what's the evidence for this idea that Biden hasn't done anything for America?
Sorry. Okay.
That was smooth. You just kind of slid
Thank
into
you,
the seat. That
thank
was
you.
good.
I think a lot of what we're hearing from you right now is just what I call book smart. You probably are more knowledgeable than a lot of this. A lot of us on these policies and all that, that's not necessarily applicable to real life living. If we look at in my opinion, one of the most important roles as a president is to keep our country safe. Kamala Harris, she's the border czar, and she has
Time has gone
completely
down.
failed
Oh, well,
at
he's the
that. She's
border.
let in millions and millions of illegal immigrants. And you've been asking us a lot of pointers, so I want to ask you, do you know what the average amount of fentanyl per pound that has come through during Biden's administration versus the Trump administration?
No, I'd assume that it's much higher under the Biden-Harris
It is.
administration. Do you know what amount of drugs processed across the southern border are processed by U.S. citizens?
But I'm talking about illegals right now. So I asked you a question.
Okay.
So during Trump's administration, there was on average about 2,500 pounds of fentanyl that came across the border.
Okay.
In my
2,500, 5,000 in 2020. Both the years during the Trump administration. During the Biden-Harris administration, averages more than 17,000 pounds per year. It hit a high of 27,000 pounds. Damn. Hell yeah. We get in. Carter, are you still here? Is there a word for being high on fent?
my opinion, that's 2,500 pounds too
Faded?
much.
Is that what it is?
During the
Faded?
Biden
We getting
and
faded?
Harris administration, it's exceeding 14,000 pounds per year. Where do you think that's going? That's going to our youth. That's going to high schoolers, college
Being
students.
awesome.
It's going to adults. These innocent
Yeah,
people
faded.
are
Thank you,
dying
man.
because of what is happening. And if you look at her, I think it was just this past month, they just admitted that they have lost over 300,000 illegal children.
300,000 kids.
Where do you think these children are going? They're trafficked. And I'm extremely passionate about human trafficking. I think it's one of the most important focuses that we need to have right now. And in my opinion, again, and in my experience within human trafficking, the conservatives are the ones pushing this. Kamala's ignoring it. Kamala's not the one going to visit the border. She went and visited the border. She went to the
She did visit, the border czar thing that everyone keeps calling her. She was called that, but I was what she was actually assigned with was like diplomatically trying to go to countries and address the push factors for immigration there. She actually did end up doing that. Like immigration from Honduras decreased a lot because we negotiated with Honduras to reduce crime rates there.
Only part of the border that is safe, that they're not coming through. And she said, we don't have a problem here. Nobody's coming through. That's BS. She's lying, and you say Trump's lie. I hate all kinds of lies. But when you can say Trump's an avid liar, you got to look at how Kamala's lying. During her speech at the DNC last week, she was saying that those individuals at January 6th were armed individuals with an intention of shooting people.
There were armed individuals at January 6th. Trump even knew that there were armed individuals at January 6th. And during the ellipse speech, he asked the Secret Service to take down the metal detectors that prevented people with guns from watching the speech because he said, quote, they're not here to hurt me. So, in
the Capitol. That is not true. So I can admit where Trump has lied in the past. Everybody lies. That's not good. But you also need to have the balls to admit where Kamala has lied, where Biden has lied, where their administration has lied.
Yeah, so first of all, I think that it is important to hold all politicians, everybody in a position of power accountable. I'm not going to sit here and say that Biden has never lied a day in his life. I'm not going to sit here and say that Harris has never lied a day in his life. I, can't confirm that Harris said that at the DNC or said that at the southern border.
It was
filmed. But if she did say those things, yes, those would be lies. Now, you want to talk about this.
Wouldn't that be a question of her character then?
Yeah, of course. But what I'm voting for here isn't going to be the candidate that doesn't
Kamala
lie at
lets
all.
the hoppers
It's going to be
come
the
over
candidate
here.
that lied less in this respect, and no one lies more than Donald Trump.
So I'm late. No, you're not that late in Arctic. Welcome back.
Why do you believe that character affects somebody's, impact as a leader?
Yeah, sure, because I think when we're voting for someone, when we have a leader, right, this isn't just someone who's going to try to impact our lives in good ways through policy, but it's also someone that we'd want to be ourselves. We are championing these two people, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We want to see virtues reflected in them that we would also like reflected in us.
He got cooked with one lady? Or you? Oh, yeah, right. What do you mean? The only lady I've seen, or no, there were two ladies that went up. Both of them I think he did really good against. One of them just kind of filibustered half the time, and the other one did not seem to know very much.
Donald Trump, who's been held civilly liable for sexual abuse, has sexualized a fifth grader on CBS in 1992, has cheated on three of his wives with a porn star, and was convicted of 34 felonies, and tried to stage a coup to overthrow our government. We don't see those good virtues reflected. You said you wanted to talk about the border. Do you mind if I ask you a question about that?
Go for it.
Phenomenal. So Biden and Harris, they attempted to influence bipartisan border legislation in 2023. It was Lankford's bill, who was a Republican that was also Trump endorsed. This was a good border act. It would have phenomenally reduced the impact of the crisis. It would have reduced crossings. It would have made the asylum-seeking processes quicker. It was a good bill. But what happened was Trump called the Republicans in the House and the Senate and told them to vote against it. How can you say that Donald Trump cares about the southern border when he told Republicans in Congress to vote against this bill so the crisis would continue, and he could campaign on that today to convince people like you to vote for him?
Real quick, everybody. So, during Trump's administration, in exchange for $25 million to build a border wall that would protect our country, he had an act that he wanted to pass that would allow illegal immigrant children that have graduated throughout high school to be accepted through citizenship.
Do you mind answering my question?
No, because you're just asking education policy questions. This isn't impacting America. So compared to your...
Good one. Nice, dude. I don't know what they're doing.
How else do presidents impact America apart from policy and executive
So Trump
orders?
wanted to pass this law that would give these graduating illegal immigrants citizenship. Guess who shut it down? The Biden and Harris administration.
How?
They voted against it.
The Biden and Harris administration?
Yes.
The Biden Harris administration voted against. Does it mean Democrats voted against it, or they vetoed it?
Hello.
Howdy, welcome back.
Well, okay, so you keep bringing up the border and you keep bringing up the Senate bill.
Langford's bill, absolutely.
The Senate bill never passed.
You want to know why?
What did pass was H.R. 2, which again has been.
Also, that passed the House or whatever. It's not passing the Senate. Like, it's on his Chuck Schumer's desk, whatever. It's not fun if he wasn't pursuing to be Fed chairman. True. Listen, maybe we'll probably start doing TikTok debates at some point. So.
And sitting on Schumer's.
I made a thing for it, and I set up a way to like capture my phone screen, but I haven't done it yet.
Desk, which actually closed the border. Talking to Brandon Judd, president of Border Patrol, what I can tell you is the Senate bill was better than what it is now, with 14,000 people coming through the border every day and 300,000 migrant children missing, feared, sold into sex slavery. Now, H.R. 2 did close the border, and that is the one that actually passed the House that Schumer has ignored. So I'm really sick of hearing, oh, Trump stopped the Senate bill. The Senate bill didn't pass.
You know why?
Because it was a bad bill. It codified the invasion.
What do you mean it had support from both? It would have passed if Trump didn't tell his fucking allies to shoot it down. Like,
okay,
what?
so first of all, no, it was not a bad bill. And second of all, the reason it didn't pass is because Trump called the Republicans in Congress and told them not to pass it. Right?
Well,
we see
Congress
one second. Do you mind if I finish without interruption?
Congress doesn't vote on Senate bills.
Congress does not vote on Senate bills.
Yes, we would see that Senate, like if a bill is made in the Senate, it'd go to the House, back to the Senate.
Exactly, and it never made it out of the Senate, so therefore.
Senate is part of Congress. She knows that, right?
It's
went
mute
to the House.
void.
It went to the House, right? And
no, it never made it out of the Senate. I talked to Senator Mike Lee about that. It never got out of the Senate because it was a bad bill. However,
do you mind if I finish?
Who is this lady? You are Congress. That is so true, Jubilee.
I just want to make
HR 2 did get out of.
Do you mind if I finish about
HR
that?
2 did get out of the House.
And with all due respect,
with all due respect, you don't want to hear about HR 2 that actually secured the election.
I would
the
love
border.
to. I would love to hear about HR 2. However, I would also like to finish what I was saying about.
Well, everybody's heard for the last 19 minutes what you had to say.
Okay.
Why does everyone keep saying that? I feel like he's been talked over so much.
About this. Okay, I got a minute. As far as Kamala Harris being better than Trump, she's destroyed the border. She's been absent. Nobody knows where she is. 6 months ago, even the media was saying she was the worst vice president in history. As far
How
as
has she destroyed the border?
She hasn't done anything about it. They have walked away. She hasn't gone there. She hasn't talked to Border Patrol. She hasn't met with Border
Okay, I'm confused because the last person that came up said that she had gone there. Now you're saying that she hasn't.
An hour from San Antonio after she met with Lester Holt, and Lester Holt said, you haven't been to the border? She goes, I haven't been to Europe either.
So that was in September of 2021?
So, that's who we're talking about.
So that
now,
was in June of
secondly,
2021. She went
so
in
Kamala Harris.
So I would like to
Harris,
preface here that the Biden administration has passed an executive order on the border, and we're now at lower daily crossings today
because
than
it's
we
an
were at the end
election
of Trump's
year.
term.
It's an executive order that's probably also going to get struck down in the courts because it's probably not within his authority to do.
And no, it's not just
only
because
reason.
it's an
Yes,
election
it is.
term.
They do it
tried to
every
influence
election year.
Langford's bill through the Senate
It was
and through
a
the House.
bad bill.
Then Trump called them and told them to
It
shoot it
never
down.
left the Senate.
If you were starving,
It never
and someone,
left the
one second,
Senate.
ma'am. If you were
No, you 1 second.
If someone,
we got 6
if you were
seconds.
okay.
We're not going to.
Okay, I feel like I can't get anywhere with you.
Well, I
because
feel
you're
like I can't
incessantly
get
interrupting
anywhere with
me.
you because you.
So how do we find middle ground? We do that by allowing each other to speak without interruption. I'm willing to do that for you. Are you willing to do that for me?
Super fun.
He cooked one girl for IVF question. I haven't got them there
My
yet
next
either.
claim is conservatives don't actually care about family values.
True. Can I put this whale in my boat?
Yeah, so I don't agree with that at all whatsoever. Us conservatives, main core issue is caring about family, keeping the family unit together.
You mind if I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
So then why do you turn around and champion Donald Trump, who's cheated on 3 of his wives, one with a porn star, and has ongoing civil litigation against him in which he was determined that he was guilty of sexual abuse?
That's something that's very personal, and you have to have been there in order to know what exactly goes on. Marriages are very tough. There's something that's very difficult, and again, it's.
What? Do you know how rabid conservatives would be, and this guy probably would be too, if Kamala Harris did anything close to this? If Kamala Harris had 3 children, or what, 5 children with three different wives? Or is it 3 children, 5 different wives? It's some combination of those. And cheated on one of them with a porn star? What? What?
We don't know what happened, you know. Yeah, he has failed marriages, but many people have failed marriages.
I think it's 3, right?
Do you mind if I ask
How
you another
many
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you said that you really care about the family unit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, I don't see how, like, any...
And, you know, he's probably divorced with Melania. Melania is not at any of the debates or anything. However, Laura Loomer is at... He's probably... Either he's divorced with Melania or he's cheating on Melania. Like, those are your 2 options. Either one. Marriage and relationships complicated. I've cheated on my wife at least 4 times, and it's not my fault at all.
Or Trump supporter could say that they care about the family unit because of how hard y'all fight for pro-life legislation. So voting for pro-life legislation...
Melania Trump says she stands proudly behind my nude modeling work. What? I didn't know she did that. I gotta Google something real quick, guys.
Without good reason. What this leads to is the destruction of the family unit. You're shifting the American focus away from financially well-off adults that consent to start a family, that desire to have kids, to forcing 18, 19, 20-year-old boys and girls into starting a family because the state isn't allowing the woman the access to health care that she deserves. It leads to higher rates of poverty, it leads to lower rates of employment, lower rates of education, and lower qualities of life, all things considered. Another point would be, right, conservative stance on being anti-IVF, right? I think that IVF serves as a savior for family units that are wanted to be by many of American citizens.
Your first point of...
But instead, conservatives are carrying around fake cups of J.D. Vance's jizz to make fun of Tim Walz for using IVF. What a wonderful group of people.
Being for pro-life is a human life. That is a child in and of itself. I always hear constantly the argument of, you know, if men were the ones having babies, then it would be a different
Russia
situation.
Maybe. I'm not paid by Russia. I'm paid by Israel, remember?
But that's not the case. The case is that women are the ones that bear children, and that is a life unto itself, and therefore it is deserving of its own human rights and its own human life. And you brought up many points which can you repeat for me so I can...
Yeah, of course. If you feel free to cut me off if I'm talking too fast, or if you want me to slow down.
Yeah, of course.
These points. I want to make sure that we could try to have.
Me too.
My other points were being anti-IVF. I think that IVF allows American citizens to start a family when they wouldn't otherwise be able to. Being anti-IVF prevents them from starting a family. Another point would be
should not kill babies by wasting sperm. They should always be gooting. True.
Family values, unless it's 2 men or unless it's 2 women, and then it's morally abominable. And then the third point would be just championing Donald Trump, who's cheated on 3 of his wives, one with a porn star, has sexualized little girls, and has been held civilly liable for sex.
And his own daughter as well. You should mention that as well. He's called his own daughter hot like multiple times.
Obvious.
Sure. So on one hand, I kind of agree with you because I don't think that the average conservative cares about family enough, but I would say that conservatives care a lot more about the family unit than liberals and then people on the left, especially like was brought up when it comes to the pro-life issue, when it comes to promoting the whole LGBT, like all of these things are generally anti-family, and liberals are also generally very individualistic, while conservatives have always been more on the side of conserving the family unit.
Okay, I would strongly disagree that liberals are going to be more individualistic. If we just look at Trump and the policy he passed while he was president, can you name one policy he influenced to get passed that benefited the low or the middle class more so than the top 1%?
I don't know that when I'm...
Come on! How did these people not even have talking points against this stuff? Oh.
Speaking about individualistic on the terms of economics, yes, I would say conservatives are more individualistic, as in we're not socialists, we're not wanting to redistribute wealth. Yes.
Socialist.
Like Kamala Harris
Real quick, can you define socialism for me?
When I'm speaking about socialism, I'm talking about the redistribution of wealth and like promoting the welfare system.
Okay, so socialism is just a mode of production, so it just has to do with the workers owning the means of production. The only reason I'm pointing this out is because I feel like MAGA, Republicans, conservatives as a whole, have really misconstrued socialism, communism, etc. But one last question for you here. You said that promoting the LGBTQ+ community is anti-family. How so?
Because, for instance, conservatives and people on the right have more Okay.
Sorry. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. You've been excited to come up here.
Yeah, no, this one. I think this one's interesting. So first, I also wanted to know why you think Democrats are better at supporting family values than conservatives.
Of course, great question. So first of all, we look at this from like an economic perspecare
Sure.
I'd say caring for the low and the middle class, promoting like
Immediate red
social,
flags, oh
social
no.
benefits. A good example would be the
Wait, why are they not letting
child
him
tax
talk?
credit. Kamala Harris wants to raise that to $6,000 for every
I have to
newborn
interrupt
to a
you. They're going to
one-year-old.
vote me out soon. I'm going to make my point, then they're going to vote me out. I'm going to go. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second.
Why are they so
I
mean
think
to this
what's
dude?
really interesting,
What the hell?
I wanted you to bring it up, but I'm just going to bring it up again. You were talking about when to start a
Are you democracy or republicanism? Dude, Destiny keeps pointing this out, and I think he's probably right. The reason a lot of conservatives say the thing that, like, we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic, is because democracy sounds like Democrat and republic sounds like Republican.
family. I think that's really interesting. I think the choice to start a family is when you have sex. Personally, and someone will probably be more informational than me about this, but I think that having sex is when you take that risk, if you want to call it that, take that risk of starting a family. It's your responsibility to become a parent, become a father or a mother. And I think, I forgot what it was. IVF, is that what you said?
IVF.
That helps. Is that help with abortion? Is that correct?
No, IVF is in vitro fertilization, right? This allows, right, certain like partners who wouldn't be able to conceive like naturally to still have a child. And I would like to respond to your claim there about this idea that engaging in sex is when you commit to starting a family.
Sure.
That's a great reason why I think conservatives don't actually care about family values.
Okay.
We know that our youth will continuously engage in intercourse. We know that we will see people that do this for fun outside of the context of wanting to start a family. I'd say, right, pushing the traditional value that sex leads to a kid and you're obligated to that, you have to deal with a consequence, right, is antithetical to caring about family values, because when you do that, you force unwanted children into unready households.
I had more.
That was a good, the last point of that was really good, yeah, with the abstinence only stuff.
Howdy.
Hi. So the claim that you're saying about
Breast sex is supposed to be a risk, I'm fucked.
conservatives not
Don't worry,
caring
guys,
about
I'm
family
safe.
values,
Dude, this is just a witch hunt. Where the fuck is the house I was at earlier?
let's kind of backtrack a little bit,
Last
because
stream. Or
Donald
two streams
Trump
ago, I guess.
himself, I think he's kind of a new wave of republicanism, and a lot of people kind of seem to forget that. So
one way
conservatives,
to put
yes,
it.
the old Republican Party, they did see that the old-fashioned traditional values maybe were not ideal for certain family dynamic situations that you're claiming, gay, lesbian, whatever. But I think the Republican Party has definitely changed its viewpoint and its value system quite a little bit. And now with laws and legislations, I can pretty much guarantee you that almost every Republican in this room would not be opposed to LGBT rights and people marrying people of the same.
I don't know. The way the other two people were talking, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know.
So that's one claim. And then if we want to talk about family values, the Democrats,
What it means
they
to say
tend
is
to
no one gives a fuck about
hypersexualize
traditional
children a
Republican
lot
values.
in
Well, yeah.
Hollywood. I work in the entertainment industry, and I constantly see many investors constantly pushing for these rhetorics, and there's nothing to be said about it. And unfortunately, I'm exposing myself a little bit by just saying this because it's very controversial for me to work in an industry that's
I'm
constantly
anti-life
fighting
and
for
anti-choice.
children to consistently be human
Face,
trafficked in
Joe
Hollywood.
Billy.
I have so many friends that have tried to be sexualized under this propaganda, and it's really saddening. I can agree because I used to be a liberal myself, so I can side with you on certain things. But my mother, who grew up in a very democratic vision, she herself also views that abortion is very sinful and it's unfortunate. I can agree with you on the fact that people should have a right to their own body, and we're not saying that they shouldn't. That's why, hence, Donald Trump did state many times that the state should be involved with those legislations and not himself. In situations such as people who are raped and all of those nuances, it's yes, go ahead.
So just a quick question about abortion.
Yes.
Do you agree with giving the states the ability to legislate on that?
Well, we give the states legislation on many things.
Okay, so you do agree. So do you think that abortion is murder?
I think it is because.
So do you think that we should leave murder up to the states?
Well, I think leaving the murder cases up to Democrats is a little appalling. If you look at the crime rates that are happening with all these children being killed and murdered constantly, Catholics believe that when you kill a child,
He's not even answering the question.
that's basically
Why are they all so allergic to answering his
the
questions?
ultimate
Oh my
mortal
God.
sin. And there are many sins that we can discuss. Donald Trump having affairs, yes. Nobody's denying all those cases, but at the end of the day,
People do deny those cases. People here have denied those cases.
the biggest mortal sin that we talk about in the Bible is killing another human.
Okay.
So a human who has a heartbeat in the womb, yes, I'm not opposed to people having the right to their body, but I think at the end of the day, if you were to ask yourself if God was real, you better hope and wish that he isn't, because you go to heaven and he asks you why you killed all those humans. It's compared to genocide with Hitler.
Here's my thoughts on that. So first of all, I don't want to tell you that your religion is false. That is not my goal. In fact, that's not what I'm going to do.
Of course not.
I want to take a different approach, right?
Okay.
So I'd say that Christianity is inherently faith-based, right? It's something that you can't justify outside of your own faith. It's something that has a lot of philosophical issues, right? It's something that exists in a realm apart from how we would conventionally justify policy that we'd want to pass. Say when we're justifying economic policy, we'd evaluate its outcomes. We'd look at what it costs the people, and we'd use that information, that empirical evidence, to justify if it's good or bad. But when you legislate on the basis of your faith, it doesn't allow you that room, because you're just kind of using your speculatory beliefs to justify the legislation.
Correct.
And I'd say one last thing here, right? During antebellum era slavery here at home in the U.S., we saw Christian nationalists using Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 of the Bible to justify the enslavement of black people at the time, taking away their rights. So my question to you would be, what is the logical difference between Christians 200 years ago using the Bible to justify the enslavement of black people and a Christian today using the Bible to take away access to healthcare from women? I don't think we could think of a logical distinction there, and that's why I'd say faith is best to be practiced in the confines of your own home and your own life.
So then why did Gavin Newsom ban people from practicing and praying in their own home? During the Biden administration, Gavin Newsom locked everyone down, fined them $900 just for practicing their religion. There are many people in Pasadena.
In their own home, or
church
from going to
locally,
church
and they were
during
fined
COVID?
$900. Gavin Newsom prioritized gyms, facilities, recreational centers, and Catholic nuns were describing their distress over this. So what happened to freedom of speech? What happened to
God damn it.
Distress over this? So
April
what
2021,
happened
the Supreme Court
to-
ruled that California could not impose restrictions on religious gatherings in households. Gatherings in households. The gatherings included Bible studies and prayer meetings. California argued that restrictions applied to all gatherings, including secular, non-religious
freedom of
ones.
speech? What happened to democracy?
having
Because
choice is
clearly you guys are constantly promoting that, right? But it seems like it's a communistic approach to our society.
Okay, can you define communism for me real quick?
Communism is someone who constantly dictates what's happening, and they average out everyone for the minority, for the majority. Everyone has to have
What
the
is
same
Joe yapping
houses. I mean, you look
about,
at
for
Cuba.
real?
Everybody has to have the same houses. If you go to
Is that even true in Cuba
Latin
anymore?
American country, they are not pro-abortion. They are not.
Okay, so real quick, that's not what communism is. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society, right? And once again, right, this rhetoric from a right, just kind of calling anything that they don't like communism, just kind of reminds me of the Red Scare in the
Well, it's the same way with Democrats. When
I
you
would
don't like something, you tend to attack the right because you hate everything they go for. The LGBTQ communities, they are constantly promoting propaganda where they include.
Are you rewatching? No, I swear I heard this. No.
I want to clarify this.
Listen,
you just said if I don't like
Democrats,
something,
I mean, he's repeating the same point about the communism thing because it came up again. But
Democrats are constantly pushing for openness and acceptance with the LGBTQ community and many organizations. And then guess what? As soon as you go against the rhetoric, as soon as you believe in God, all these LGBT communities are. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for the conversation.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
Yeah, actually, let me check in really quick. I think last time.
Of course.
There's a lot of different claims, different topics that was hit on this exact question. But one thing I do want to state from the beginning is this debate is Democrats versus Republicans, not Trump versus whoever they have in office, Kamala or whatever. So I really want to focus on Republican policy.
I don't know. A lot of Republicans have endorsed Kamala for some reason. Why might that be?
Pushed throughout history to now, and not separate things that two individuals say. So I want to go on to abortion, because abortion was talked about a lot when it comes to family values.
Yeah.
I really don't think if a party is pushing for adoption to raise a child versus murder, that's not shying away from family values. That's not against family values. Because if that was really true, how come in pretty much every single state to date, if somebody is to term or carrying a child and they get murdered, is a double murder. It's not a single murder, it's a double murder.
Wow.
So if the
Wow.
judicial system,
Wow.
if the judicial system looks at it that way, shouldn't abortion be looked at the same way, or is it based on the person decide, oh yeah, I can kill somebody or not?
Yeah, I can explain that to you. So first of all, I would like to tell you why I'm pro-choice. That's because I don't value a unicellular life form that doesn't have the ability to display like first-person subjective experiences. Right? I don't value the fetus until it has that ability. That comes at about 20 through 24 weeks. But now that we got that out of the way, you do ask a great question. Right? How can I say that abortion isn't murder, then turn around and support legislation that would allow someone that kills a mother that is pregnant to be charged with double homicide? Well, I could tell you through an analogy. Let's say you have a car. What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Malibu.
You drive a Malibu, okay. So if you go up to your Malibu, after we're done debating here, and you break the windshield, did you do anything wrong?
I mean...
No, it's your car, it's your property, you make that decision.
It depends on what view you look at it.
Let's think about it this way. If you go up to your car and you consent to breaking your car's windshield, you didn't do anything wrong there. You have a right to do that. But if someone else just walking down the street goes up and breaks your car's windshield without your consent, did they do something wrong?
I mean, if you, okay, for example, let's say this. If I go out on the street right now.
Wait, do you mind just answering my questions?
Oh my God, they're so allergic to engaging with any of his questions or any hypotheticals. Oh my God, how are they all so cowardly? Oh my God.
So if someone else walking up the street breaks your car's windshield without your consent, did they do something wrong?
Yeah.
And that's the same way I think about the right to an abortion. I would define murder as the unjustified termination of a human being's life. And I'd say it is justified when the mother would do it, as she would have the right to, as the fetus is presiding within your uterus. But if some non-consenting third party walks up and unalives her and the fetus within her room without her consent, that is unjustified.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well, man.
All right, so I think your first claim, you were saying that because Donald Trump has this past and this history, that therefore he's anti-family, and then therefore the entire Republican base is anti-family. Is that your argument?
I'd like to make
if
two
they're
corrections
supporting
here.
him.
So first of all, that's not the only reason why I'd say this. It's just one of.
It's one of your arguments.
And then second of all, I wouldn't say that every conservative ever on the face of planet Earth is doesn't actually care about family values for this reason. I'd just say that this is going to be typically true.
Okay, so you think just because Donald Trump is the Republican candidate, that therefore typically conservatives or Republicans are anti-family?
Well, he won the primary
Consideration of who
by
the
a
Republican Party is
landslide.
championing, Donald Trump, a consideration of the consequences of pro-life legislation while not having good reason to write that legislation in the first place, along with being anti-IVF and anti-LGBTQ+ are going to be for good reasons.
Right. So let's look at Democrats then. Okay. Are you going to say that Democrats are anti-family because they elected someone like Bill Clinton and he cheated on Hillary with Monica Lewinsky? Is that because I think if you are going to say that Trump makes the Republican.
I mean, what Trump did was worse than Clinton, but he also, that's 1990, brother.
Anti-family. You're going to have to say the same thing about Democrats and some of the candidates that they've elected.
Not necessarily, right? I think if Bill Clinton.
Hey, let him talk.
When Democrats voted for Bill Clinton, did they know, because they had a crystal ball, that he was going to
Oh, that's true as well.
Monica Lewinsky?
No, they didn't.
But when you're going to vote for Trump in November, do you have the prior knowledge that he cheated on 3 of his wife? He sexualized a little girl on an interview with
also
CBS in
Democrats
1992,
voted not to impeach him. Okay. Right? So aren't all the Democrats in the House that voted to not impeach him now anti-family?
Well, first of all, I gave you 4 considerations why I'd say that the conservative voter base is going to be anti-family. That's going to be one. But I would say that, yes.
Well, right. We have to look at one argument at a time.
Well, I wouldn't say that, this alone is necessary in saying that all conservatives are anti-family. I'd say it's one of the considerations. I would say that, the Democrats in Congress that didn't elect to impeach, Bill Clinton probably didn't do the right thing there. But then additionally, I'd say even when we look at legislation from the Democratic platform versus the Republican one, the Democratic platform, wants to federally protect all women and girls' right to access abortion, right? That's going to make sure that unwanted kids aren't placed into unready households. The Democrat platform wants to raise the child tax credit to $6,000.
Right. So you're being pushed on this argument, and then you're just bringing up other arguments. You're not actually addressing my claims. But
what did he directly address your claim? He literally directly addressed it and then said, in addition. Oh my God. These people are not debate-brained.
Additionally, I don't think you can say, just because I'm going to vote for this candidate because I like their policies means I'm therefore anti-family. And I think you have a lot of Republicans, myself included, that are very pro-family and that want those things and are disgusted by Trump's previous behavior. But that's not our voting philosophy. Our voting philosophy is based off of policies and what we think are going to be best for the country.
He just mentioned policies.
That doesn't mean we don't have disagreements with Trump and his personal life. Yeah. And I think with literally any candidate, you're going to have disagreements on on different policies that they like and different personal behaviors and actions in their life. But that does not mean that therefore I'm anti-family because I'm going to vote for Donald Trump.
Well, here's the way I'd put it. I don't see how you could call yourself pro-family, turn around, platform Donald Trump with his, anti-family past, cheated on 3 of the wives, one with a porn star, and vote for his legislation that in turn is anti-family as well.
But again, I just said that's not our voting philosophy.
You said that you voted on the context of policy, but this is also considering the policy that he wants to enact. Thanks for the conversation, man. My next claim is Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans.
True. Oh my God, unironically, super base claim. Yes, the Democrats have to drill down on this
I would
more.
love to talk to him. Hey, welcome back down.
Okay, just for everyone's sake, I want you to tell me why you support your claim, and then I'll leave, and people can yap at you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like this guy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I think that Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans because Republicans are currently platforming Donald Trump. And Donald Trump had attempted to launch a coup on our federal government in an attempt to overturn and rig the results of the 2020 election. And there's 4 reasons I say this. The first reason I say this is Donald Trump capitalized on the January 6 riots to pressure Senate to postpone the vote. The second reason I say this is because Donald Trump sent fake slates of electorates to 7 different states to cast fake certificates of ascertainment into college to be certified as real by Mike Pence. The third reason I say this is because, well, he pressured Mike Pence into signing those fake certificates of ascertainment. And the fourth reason I say this is, well, this process of trying to circumvent our civil and electoral processes and literally trying to rig the outcome of the 2020 election is a direct threat and attack on our government and on our democracy, and it is ignoring the voice of every single American citizen that voted in the 2020 election. You and everybody around this room and anybody at home, if you voted in the 2020 election, Trump tried to make your vote null by installing fake certificates of ascertainment to make himself the president again. Okay. And that is the worst internal attack that we have had on our country since the Civil War.
Okay, I don't agree, but you guys can vote me on that.
Good one. Nice.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Okay, so really bold, clear statement that Democrats are very patriotic. Let's talk about the actions of the Democrats being very glorious and loving our country.
Well, I would like to clarify.
Yeah,
My claim is not that Democrats are very patriotic. It is that they are more patriotic than Republicans, but I apologize for interrupting you.
Okay, no, but I would like clarity on what are those actions, because in my understanding of Democrats being really patriotic is destroying the nuclear family, burning down
Haven't
flags,
done
burning down
J6,
buildings.
so I'll have you know, burning a flag is protected by the First Amendment. Trump is the one that wants to prosecute people for burning flags. So
I mean, we see just destruction in our cities. Did you see the trash and all the homelessness going on in LA? What is patriotic about supporting all of that? What is patriotic about supporting all the drugs that are coming in, all the things that we're allowing, the human sex trafficking, allowing all these things and policies going on? What is patriotic about that? What screams "I love America" of people?
You said that Democrats support, right?
No, I'm just asking, what are the patriotic acts that show? Because what patriotism means to me is kneeling for those who have sacrificed for our country. My father has served 30 years in the military, right? That is 30 years that he is not getting back, that he has fought for his country, laid down his life for. What is patriotic that the Democrats are doing, that are saying, hey, I'm going to lay my life down and not be egotistic and individualistic, and I'm going to serve and look out for others, look out for the next generation. What is it? So that's what I'm asking. To make that statement clear, what does that look like at the Democratic Party?
I actually think that's a great question. And the answer to your question would be a fight to protect and preserve the state of our democracy. I think that you listed off a whole cohort of claims there that were typically engaged in by Democrats that have been anti-patriotic, such as burning the flag, such as burning down buildings in the riots. And I agree with you, right? I think that those are clear displays of anti-patriotic behaviors. Do I necessarily disagree with them all the time? No, I don't think that it's wrong to burn the American flag if it's in protest of actions of the American government. But my claim here is that there's nothing less patriotic than supporting Donald Trump, a man that has already tried to destroy our country internally by attempting to overthrow the results of the 2020.
Okay, I completely understand that statement. I don't agree with that, but we're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about your statement that Democrats are patriotic. So I'm asking about the actions are what, because we can keep.
His claim is a relative claim. Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans. We're not allowed to talk about Donald Trump.
But they are not the reason of being a conservative or a Democrat. It's the morals, it's the values, and the action that you are reflecting.
Of course,
that you're
I understand you. And the morals and the values and the actions reflected.
The morals, as a Democrat, as a liberal, what are you reflecting that's benefiting your country?
Of course, great question.
These socialism policies, these individualism policies, these I want to consume these egotistic policies, these you should worship in closed doors and proximities. Don't open the Bible in school. Don't say the Pledge of Allegiance. All these things that we see. No, yes. Just let me clarify. We'll finish real quick. So all these things that we see, we're being forced as conservatives to shut that down, to be quiet, to be banned. So how are we talking about free speech, freedom of religion, loving, and all this stuff? These are all things that you guys are proclaiming. But
so do you agree with freedom of religion?
Of course.
So then you wouldn't agree with Trump's attempted Muslim ban?
Again, we're not talking about Trump. I'm asking for policies, talking about how are Democrats really.
Yeah, sure. Let's go over them. So first, I think that fighting for the freedoms of all 170 million American women by reinstituting federal protections for access access to healthcare, that's going to be caring about
So
the
abortion.
citizens. I think that, yes. I think that fighting.
Why?
Just want to make that clear. I'm sorry, I just want to make that clear because there's a lot of
Okay, do you mind if I
technology
finish?
to do that. No, I just wanted to make that clear so I'm on the same page. You can continue.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I obviously think being in a room surrounded by 20 conservatives, you're not going to look at access to abortion as healthcare. I think.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
No worries.
This is a dialogue. You want a good, fruitful dialogue? Let's continue. I'm apologizing. I just.
Sweet. Yeah, and like I understand that there's going to be an ideological separation there, but from my side of the aisle, I absolutely think that this is something that should be federally protected. I think that infringing upon women's right to bodily autonomy, bodily integrity, all because they want to preserve the life of a non-sentient, or sorry, like a multicellular life form that doesn't.
Did your mom thought that about you? She
experiences?
was about to
It's
she
not.
thought that you were just some cells.
My mom, when I was aware, I mean, it doesn't.
I mean, if she thought that he was sentient when he was fucking 10 cells in, I mean, she's just wrong. She's just dumb. But
care whether she thought I was that.
So you were just a bunch of cells. So that's what you're just believing in your.
Well, I mean, well, my particular claim was the reason why I'm pro-choice is because I don't value the life of a uni or multicellular.
But you have life.
That doesn't
so
have
you
the
get to
ability
make that change. You get to make that choice by having life. And someone that doesn't have that voice to say like, oh, that's just a bunch of cells, just abort it. Where does that stand? How is that patriotic? How is that loving America?
Yeah, because it protects access to healthcare. It protects the
Killing
preservation-
babies,
one moment.
killing children. Okay.
Okay, so do you think abortion's murder?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think
I'm
that,
making that statement very
okay,
clear.
well, so do you think that some women with IUDs are murderers then? Because it is the case in
why
some
is she
contexts.
talking about
but
his mom? Because it's just like it's the pro-life gotcha where you do, well, would you be in favor of abortion if your mom did it, or do you think mothers think that their child is just a clump of cells? Do you think your mom thought that about you?
IUD will allow for conception to occur, meaning there's a unique human life there, but then it will prevent its implantation into the uterine lining, killing it.
I don't support or believe in any of that.
To be fair, that wasn't the question I asked you. I asked you if they were murderers.
Please engage with his questions.
I have no comment on that.
Well, didn't you just say that
Oh
abortion
my
is murder because it's
god.
killing a unique human life? IUDs can and do kill unique human life. So wouldn't this make women with IUDs murderers?
Well, I again have no comment on that.
Okay, well, see, now I can just reflect everything you were just asking me back to you.
Yeah,
How can you stand for the
you're
murder
not going to answer the
life?
question that I have asked you.
Thanks for the follow, J Car, 1966. Welcome to the stream. Welcome.
Oh, again,
This girl
how are
got
these
cooked.
actions
Yeah,
going to
she's
be
so.
be
She
more
is very
patriotic?
cooked.
Well,
patriotic
I'd like to make it clear for the record that you
so, like,
can
we're
add a
going
comment on
into
that because
where
you knew
admitted
that.
that you support killing babies. Okay, good. We're going to talk about IUD. Let's move on forward. What other actions have you seen that the Democratic Party has just showed? Again, I love America.
Of course, right? So I mean, you want to talk about.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Oh, so sorry. She was gonna go right.
Chivalry? All right, so you said that Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans.
Yes, because.
I would like to hear. So, how would you
Tic-tac, you
describe
fake
the epic
YouTube
failure
troll.
with the Biden administration, and how would you see it as being patriotic in the way that we left Afghanistan?
Well, if you want to reference our Afghanistan pullout as not being
Ooh.
patriotic, well, we should blame that on Trump because he is the one that organized the pullout.
That's actually wrong. He didn't.
He did.
I know
What?
lawyers that worked with JAG.
Not funny. Support killing innocent newborns, completely good babies. Abortion is a hard thing for me because I love killing babies, but I hate women. So it's a difficult.
For that operation, and it was
Don't
a
clip
long
that.
strategic pullout over the course of several years. It was the Biden administration that booked when they were going to leave. It was their operation with the military complex under Austin that pulled that out. It was an epic failure. So are you agreeing that it was a failure?
Okay, well, I mean, if you seemingly know more than me about the pullout from Afghanistan, as far as I'm aware, that was organized by Trump's
Do
administration.
you see giving the Qatari embassy to the Taliban as patriotic?
Oh fuck! I should not have set my spawn point here. I don't want to spawn in the nether.
Well, I would like to just finish off here real quick. So you seemingly know more than.
I don't know what she's on about. Obviously, we withdrew under Biden, and you can say the withdrawal was bad or whatever, like the way it was implemented. But like, that was Trump. Trump was the one that made that decision. He's the one that negotiated. Yeah, I know. He did want to invite the Taliban to Camp David to negotiate. Yeah, he's the one that negotiated for that withdrawal. So.
Tell me about our pullout from Afghanistan. I was under the
Do you
impression.
see what happened at Bagram Air Force Base as patriotic?
Okay, ma'am. Do you mind if I finish?
How did they get such bad people for this? I don't like. What?
We'll see. We'll see. See if I can interrupt you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, just what I had hoped to say there was you seemingly know more than me about our pullout out of Afghanistan.
It was one of the largest events that happened after Biden took office, and also one of what I would consider one of the worst and most humiliating for America.
Okay. Well, if I can't finish my statements, I don't see how
Biden.
we're going to be able to have productive conversation.
Do you know how many people are left? American citizens are left in Afghanistan?
I do not know how many American citizens are left in Afghanistan.
Are you familiar with any of the planes that have gone back? to try and pull some of these people out? Do you know who's
when?
operating those
When we
planes? Do you
were
know that the federal
withdrawing?
government isn't doing that, that it's nonprofit organizations, and that a lot of those nonprofit organizations were
Multiple nonprofit organizations flew planes in and out of Afghanistan after the U.S. military withdrawal to evacuate Afghanistans who assisted the U.S. military in May have been in danger. I don't know. Isn't that literally their nonprofit? Oh, thanks for this sub. 1966 J Carr. Wow. Are there still planes going in? I know there were a lot of planes, and I'm assuming some of them were, I guess, nonprofit organizations as well. When we were actually withdrawing, have there been more going back since we finished withdrawing? I don't actually know. I would assume not, but maybe.
grounded in other countries and not allowed to enter in
Okay,
for
so
pullout operations?
all right, let's look at the
So
pullout-
patriotically speaking,
if I can't
is
speak,
that something
okay,
that's
go ahead.
patriotic to you? Is leaving someone behind patriotic?
Okay, well, if you will allow me to speak without.
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
You're very quick with everybody else. Come on.
If you will allow
Oh
me to
my
speak without
God.
interruption, we'll be able to have a hopefully productive conversation.
Come on. Point.
Okay. Well, I'm seriously, I'm not gonna be able to make a point if you keep interrupting me. Like that's just like we.
What's up, Bob Marley? No one. Welcome to the stream. Welcome.
No, you're stalling. You're stalling. Make your point. Was it patriotic?
Okay,
That's
dude.
Yes or no? Was that patriotic for you?
Okay.
Were you embarrassed?
Okay,
Your family that's in the
I'm not going to be
military?
able to give you a yes or no answer. I'm going to have to give you a fleshed out answer. I will address your point if you could.
Flushed out answer. You don't have a yes or no on patriot.
If you would like to drop the GUI skill to 3 in video
I'm
settings,
leaving.
why would I do
Okay.
that?
Behind Afghanistan.
Would you vote to abolish slavery? Me? Yeah.
If you will,
War that we spent over 20 years
you're still not allowing me to
fighting?
talk here. Do you mind if I
I'm
finish?
waiting.
do
Yes
you-
or no?
Okay, well, it's
I like the GUI at this scale. What's wrong with
it's not a yes or no question.
It
I
is
have
a
to
yes
give
or
you
no
a fully
question. I
fleshed out
asked you
answer.
yes or no. It's very
If you will-
direct.
if
Yes
you will-
or no.
Okay, so what
Was
you're
it
trying to do is you're
patriotic?
trying to force me into a
Was
yes or no
it
question when I can't even respond to the
patriotic?
claims that you've
Was
made.
it No, you're dancing around the question because you don't want to answer it because
okay.
it's going to make you look bad.
So if the
I think that one actually looked like she wanted. She didn't keep interrupting him. I know it's wild.
It's not patriotic.
Everyone, in this not panel, in this debate circle jerk is so allergic to answering questions or engaging with hypotheticals. Hot bar and info too big? I don't think so.
I think any American citizen can tell that it was not patriotic. It made us look bad. It was embarrassing. We all had doubts on what was going to happen
He's
under this
asking a conservative
administration.
woman.
Just
How many Robux should I buy? $99 worth,
based
obviously.
on that alone. And the fact that we still have people there.
I hope Ness isn't watching right now. I think I'm gonna get Ness Robux for their birthday. I think it'd be funny to get an absurd amount because it would just be so dumb that I spent a ton of money on a gift and it was all just Robux. But I don't think it's worth it. But I might get them like $20 worth of Robux. So I think it'd be funny.
That's embarrassing.
Okay. All right. So if the Afghanistan pullout were to have occurred as the way that you described it, it would have been anti-patriotic. It would have been bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's wild. They won't answer his questions, so they keep bringing up like irrelevant points, and it's so wild to me. It's so dumb.
Service members lost their lives. I don't think that they deserve
What
to do
the
that.
fuck?
I'm under the impression that Donald Trump had organized that pullout while he was president. He was
Never.
executed under the Biden-Harris administration.
Nope.
We're saying that's false. We'll leave it up to the fact checkers. And then I'd also, please, yo.
What do you even need Robux for?
Hey, please.
Yo.
Let me finish, please.
Oh.
Sorry for cussing. You can cut that out. Please just allow me to finish here.
That's not
Wait, what did he say?
Let me finish. And that's false. We'll leave it up to the fact checkers.
attorneys
And then I'd
operated
also,
that,
please,
and they
please,
didn't use
yo, hey, please.
Yo.
just Let me finish, please. Sorry for cussing. You can cut that out. Please just allow me to finish.
Oh, I guess I cut it out. Wow.
Okay, so I would still say that attempting to.
I'm surprised he can control himself. He can't say anything on TikTok. Not find words to address to impress stream. Are you psy-hopping me? There's no shot you said that independently of someone telling you to. Did someone you're psy-hopping me?
Overthrow our federal government with the use of a coup to rig an election would be less.
What would you say to somebody? What would you?
Hey, welcome down. How you doing?
Okay, so I feel like a lot of what this question is holding is what is in the best for the American people, right?
Yes.
And like what is the most patriotic thing.
I like that.
And I feel like a lot of what has been discussed today, because I've heard it and a lot of people have said it, is, and then what you have addressed a lot is.
What mod pack is this? This is just better MC. It's called.
You don't think Trump is the best candidate, right?
There was
And
only
then
that
on
one
top
guy
of
so
that, I
far
feel like
that
the
beat the
problem
debate guy.
is with
which guy do you think that was? I think Dean. I think Dean's done really well for all these people. I don't know if any of them. I would say won against
a lot
him
of people right now.
yet at least.
There's a lot.
If Trump gets elected, would you give him a third term? No,
issues. A lot of hot topics. A lot of things that we could go over.
He's not eligible to run for a third term.
And I think the problem is when we're thinking about what is the best thing for the American people, a lot of the past 4 years have gone astray and gone to garbage.
Okay.
And
Would you be able to demonstrate to me like how you think the Biden and Harris administration has negatively impacted your life or the lives of other American citizens?
I feel like there's a lot of
Inflation.
agendas that you've clearly want to talk about
agendas, okay.
agendas, but in terms of like how they did, well, patriotically, let's talk about what happened in Hawaii. Like Trump supported a lot, or sorry, not Trump, Biden spent more money with Ukraine than.
When will Obama? What do you mean Obama is running for his fourth term right now? Don't you know Joe Biden was just an Obama puppet, and so is Kamala Harris? They're both just Obama puppets. We're getting an Obama fourth term.
Do you know why?
Wait.
We
On
sent
top of
money
that,
to Ukraine?
sorry.
Do you know why we've sent money to Ukraine?
Why we sent money to Ukraine?
Because of the Budapest Memorandum. We signed a denuclearization agreement with you.
I don't know who the guy in the middle is. He definitely looks like Tom Holland. He does look like Tom Holland. His name is Dean. He's a TikTok debater, yeah. But I think if we're being nice, we can give him, we can give the guy with the Clinton impeachment point a win. Oh, well, that point was, the point the guy made about the Clinton impeachment, that was actually probably the best point made. I don't know if I would say that he won overall.
Millions of dollars to people that are not even Americans. And on top of
tell you why.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's because of the
I
Budapest
should have marked
Memorandum
my
that we
portal.
signed with them in the 1990s, stating if they give up their nukes, we'll defend them from a foreign entity if they're invaded. That's what they did. Us
I'll
sending
change the
Ukraine
layer.
funding and weapons is nothing more than the U.S. upholding our contractual end of an agreement that we made in the 90s. Okay.
I know, yeah.
Well, it looks like you are going to be finishing the episode off. We have 30 seconds on the clock.
I got 30
I'm not going to be able
seconds.
to respond to anything that you say, so take it away.
Yeah, one thing that you said about patriotism, I mean, I go to Trump rallies and I see people holding up American flags versus if you go to a Democrat convention, you see nobody holding up an
I don't know. Did you see the
American
DNC
flag.
this
Maybe like
year?
one person or two people there will hold up an American flag. So patriotism to me is being proud of being American, being proud to being from this country. Like I'm proud from being from this country. My family escaped communism from Cuba, and
Define communism with your last 30
they came
seconds?
here for a better opportunity in loving America, and that's what patriotism is about.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Damn. Do you announce you to Trump to debate for 10 minutes? I forgot they did this. This will be interesting. Where's the thing?
Yeah.
The lady with the Afghanistan point could have won if she just shut up after making a point. Yeah, she had a actual solid point there. Although again, I don't know. I don't exactly know what she meant by the nonprofit thing. I have to look it up. If there were nonprofit organizations flying in after we finished withdrawing, or if she just meant during the withdrawal that there were nonprofit organizations helping.
I think there were two reasons why Dean chose me. I think I was probably one of the more respectful people that disagreed with him. And then the second reason is I think I actually challenged him.
He had made a claim along the lines of Bill Clinton, cheating on his wife with Monica Lewinsky and not being impeached by the Democrats in Congress, and how that may reflect some anti-family values. I think that it was probably the best rebuttal that I received from anybody today.
First, I want to shake your hand. I hope to have a respectful dialogue with you.
I don't know what layer
my
the
claim is
thing is
that
on.
abortion is immoral or not justified. And so I think it kind of comes down to four main reasons. So logically, the argument is to kill an innocent human being is morally wrong. I'm sure you agree with that one. The second is that abortion is the killing of an innocent human being. So therefore...
Vertgen, what's up, Sergeant? Have you seen Ryan McPeth talking about Project 2025? Yeah, I've seen did he make a new video on it? Yeah, I saw the video where he was debunking one of the just like a screen cap that he saw on Twitter about it.
Or abortion is morally wrong. So that's the logical argument.
They put a live fact check about her nonprofit playing point. Yeah, but it didn't tell me what I wanted to know. I don't know if it meant that nonprofits were helping during the withdrawal or nonprofits were flying in after we finished withdrawing. Nonprofits were still flying in and out.
But I think there's four points that you're going to bring up that determine whether or not.
Not funny. Support killing innocent newborns, completely good babies. Abortion is a hard thing for me because I love killing babies, but I hate women. So it's
Not a fetus is human or not. So first is size. Second is level of development. 3 is environment. And 4th is degree of dependency. So all those things, kind of what I hear pro-choicers say, fall under those categories. And none of those categories determine human value or human worth. You being valuable as a human is based One, in the fact that you are a human, like that you are part of the human
DNA?
species.
Really?
But secondly, I would say because you are made in the image of God as well.
Okay.
And so that would be, I think, the basis of why I am pro-life.
Okay, yeah, let's have a conversation about this, man. So first of all, I'll just tell you why I'm pro-choice. So I'm pro-choice because I only value life forms that would fall into a specific conjunction of traits. I value any life form that has a conjunction between past or present and future subjective experiences, and it's not until about 20 through 24 weeks that is true of a fetus. Therefore, prior to that point, I'm not going to associate value with the life of that fetus. Second of all, you said that a human was valuable, A, because it's human, and B, it's made in the image of God. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the idea that you value it because it's made in the image of God, and that is what makes you vote for pro-life legislation. I don't think that we should be using faith-based beliefs to vote for legislation.
Why not?
Because when this has been used historically, this has led to very negative outcomes. One individual might say...
that's not true.
One moment. So one person might say that slavery is okay because God said so, and you're saying that abortion is wrong because God said so. How do we distinguish between those two statements?
See, I never said that, actually. I gave a whole logical argument that's separate from Scripture. But,
Okay,
but you agreed to my first premise, so I don't...
Didn't he lay out a syllogism? He did, but he mentioned a syllogism, and then he also mentioned his faith thing as well. He said, I don't know if he said it in addition to, but yeah. He did mention a syllogism.
I don't even know why you're
first.
bringing it up. It just seems kind of like a red herring.
Okay.
So you agree to my first premise that killing an innocent human person is wrong, right?
I do not. So I don't think in all scenarios that ending the life of an innocent human being is wrong. I wouldn't say that it would be wrong for a fetus before 20 through 24 weeks for the reason it falls outside of that conjunction of value I gave you. It doesn't have the ability to deploy first-person subjective experiences, and maybe you'll.
So what does that mean? Explain that to me.
Yeah. So like a first-person subjective experience is like a type of qualia that we all experience, and gives us an inference of the idea that you're sitting in a chair in front of a microphone, and you can engage with me in a subjective way. It's a little bit hard to explain, but we could sum this up as consciousness. And then second of all, let's see if maybe you agree with your first premise. Would you say it is murder to pull the plug on a brain-dead patient?
Yep, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think that's irrelevant to the debate.
You say that that's murder, and it's not irrelevant to the debate. So do you think that should be made illegal?
Yeah, I think so.
To pull the plug on a brain-dead patient?
Well.
Yeah, if...
Well, at least he bites the bullet.
If that person is still alive, then...
At least he doesn't do like any of the cope shit that people do.
Yeah, we cannot make that choice.
Okay.
We have to let nature take its course for that.
Okay. Maybe something else we could say here. Human life begins at the moment of conception, yeah?
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Okay, and it's murder to kill it after that. So would you say, this was a question I asked earlier, would you say that women with IUDs can be murderers because in some contexts an IUD will allow for conception to occur, but then it will...
IUD, explain that.
So an IUD is a form of birth control. It's inserted into a female's cervix, I believe. Maybe I'll get fact-checked.
Well, so yeah,
I mean, what it does is in some scenarios...
How does being a TikTok debate at work? Thought TikTok was 60-second clips. You can live stream on TikTok.
It can prevent conception of a unicellular zygote. In others, it will allow for conception to occur.
TikTok also has like its what the fuck? It's like multi hosting or whatever. So like you can invite people to come on and debate.
What about you?
You can see like these people
good,
are
just enjoying this Friday night. How's your night going?
streaming, and you can invite people on.
Then prevent implantation.
If conception happens and then the fetus is terminated, that is murder.
Okay, so you'd say that some women with IUDs are murderers?
Yeah.
Okay, do you think that all murderers should go to jail?
Well, yeah, I do.
Okay, so then you'd say that some women with some forms of birth control should go to jail?
Yeah, and see now we're on a red herring though. You're
No,
talking
it's
about
called a
policy.
reductive
You're talking about policy, but what?
This isn't policy.
But you're avoiding the actual discussion.
No, this isn't
the
avoiding
actual
the
discussion is what is a fetus? What is the unborn? And your only argument against that was level of development. And you said you have to be conscious that's what you value.
Okay.
Yeah?
So first of all,
is that correct?
Yeah. So
Is that
I
your only
only value life forms that have a conjunction of past or present and future subjective experiences. But I would like to repeat, no, that line of questioning was not a red herring. It was using your logic to imply a certain.
No, but
so one moment.
But you're getting away.
Just allow me 30 seconds to finish here, right? So the same logic you're using to imply that that abortion is murder and should be criminalized has also led you to the conclusion that women that use some forms of birth control should be sent to jail. Okay, I don't think that's logic we should trust
but also,
because of how absurd the conclusions can be.
No, but here's the problem: is that people within the pro-life movement disagree on that stuff. So you can't use that to discredit the entire pro-life movement.
I'm using that to discredit your stance.
No, but what every pro-lifer agrees on, and what the heart of the issue is that you seem to be running away from, is what.
Okay, why are we talking about you? He's debating you right now, motherfucker. He's not debating the entire pro-life movement.
Is the unborn, and so your example of consciousness falls into level of development. But so does that mean that if we have someone, and you said I think subjective experiences and things like that as well, does that mean if someone is born blind and deaf, they're less of a human being?
No,
because they can't have the same experiences as the rest of us?
So first of all, I don't think that level of experiences, like I don't know, a newborn being less conscious than you or I, that's not going to determine them to have less value. My statement would be if they have any subjective experiences, they're going to have the same amount of value, and that's going to be consistent across the board. Second of all, I'm not using this determinator for moral value, that being like first-person subjective experiences, to evaluate what is or isn't a human. A unicellular zygote from the moment of conception is a human, as determined by biologists, right? They have unique human DNA, right? My assertion here is that I do not value the fetus prior to that point because they lack this ability that is necessary for them to be harmed. They don't have a well-being, they can't be harmed, they don't have first-person subjective experiences. And to say that all human life, regardless of the point of its development, including a unicellular zygote, is just as valuable, that's insane.
But you're putting a barrier on what is a human being.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm
That's
already
what
told.
you have to do.
No.
I mean, we all put the barrier somewhere. Pro-lifers say.
I will clarify again, it's a human being from the moment of
Can I
conception.
finish?
Not all human beings are valuable, of course.
Okay. What I was saying is we all put the barrier somewhere. And so pro-lifers are going to put the barrier on conception because that is when it is an independent human being. But you're putting the barrier on consciousness. And I'm saying
it's true.
So if you're going to put the barrier there, the problem is that the result of that view is that people with less consciousness have less value.
It is not.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Why is that not the case?
Yeah, because my
independent. Well, I mean, it has its own unique human genome, is I think what he means by independent. It obviously can't live on its own. But
conjunction for value is meeting the conditions of having the ability to.
Also, things that are less conscious do have less values. That's why we eat animals, like.
Deploy consciousness, right? But if you deploy more consciousness than another human, that doesn't mean you have more value than them. Any level of consciousness, right, is going to yield the same amount of value as the next. I think that as soon as a fetus gains this ability to deploy these first-person subjective experiences, that they have just as much value as
deploy consciousness. So what about if you have someone that is unconscious, that cannot deploy consciousness?
Well, once
Can
again,
we just kill them?
No, because they would still meet the conditions of my conjunction for distributing more value. That being past or present consciousness and future consciousness, right? So if you meet
and
that
future consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they have the potential for consciousness.
I do not think that the potential for consciousness in the future on its own would yield a morally valuable
Okay, so now you're walking back on
I am not walking back.
Yeah, you did, because you said
I have a question. Is the potentiality for
Hold on,
consciousness?
can you let me finish? Because you've been complaining about everyone interrupting, and that's fair. But I need to make my point. All right. So you were saying that you were just saying about future consciousness, and that's exactly the argument with the pro-life, is that they have the potential for that consciousness.
That's a different argument than you gave earlier. You just said we should value all human beings earlier.
Yes, and again, you're discriminating based on level of development. And if we were to discriminate against
we discriminate based on level of development. Like, children have less rights. Does this guy have YouTube? He's pretty good. I think he does. When they're conscious, I know, but also we do discriminate on level of development. You can't vote until you're 18. You can't drink until you're 21. Yes, correct. We discriminate based on level of development. Like
a toddler or whatnot, based off of level of development. If that's what it means to be human, then that introduces
he's already clarified they're a human from the moment of conception.
Subjective aspect.
You're just kind of making talking points now, right? I've already clarified that this isn't what makes someone a human. This is what makes a human morally valuable.
Yeah, but
I've also clarified, one moment, allow me to finish.
Sure.
But you can cut off your dick if you are 9 non-fun. So true. Can you cut off your dick?
I've also clarified here that
I don't know. According to Jordan Peterson, I guess you can.
Not value potential for future consciousness on its own. I value it in conjunct to past or present. I feel as if you're almost ignoring my argument, conceiving of an argument.
Okay, well, we have it on video of you not just saying past and present, but you saying future. Okay. So, I mean,
he said past, present, and
back.
future.
If you want to admit,
good fucking Jim from The Office. Look at the camera there, Dean. Good one, buddy.
that you're walking it back. That's fine. That's totally fine. But that's what you said.
Okay, so
you
when
deny that?
So yeah, when the people at home watch this and scrub, their YouTube, bar at the bottom back, they will see that I said past or present consciousness and future consciousness.
Yeah, and future consciousness, exactly.
Conjunction.
And.
Would you like me to describe to you what conjunct is and why I would use that to describe more value?
Good dialogue.
Jim versus 20 Dwight.
At the end of the day, it's not just about me trying to change everybody else's minds, but it's also about me becoming a better person and holding better beliefs myself. I think that I definitely had some letdowns within the positions that I was arguing. I could have known much more about, our pull out of Afghanistan, and I want to admit that in good faith. But ultimately speaking, in this all things considered sense, I think that I definitely held up pretty well throughout the conversations, and hopefully I'm able to make an impact upon the beliefs of anyone who may be watching this interview right now with some of the things I said today.
I thought Dean was a great debater. He definitely came with a lot of news articles.
He did better than Charlie Kirk. Well, that's true, but also, Well, no, Charlie Kirk was also debating people that were below his skill level, I think. But
articles and a
yeah.
lot of facts, what they want to say, and kind of, I think at the end of the day, you can have the facts, but it's how you construe them. And I think he did really well at construing the facts and everything. He did make me kind of think a little bit. Like I said, he came in really prepared. So there are definitely a lot of things on there that I'm gonna have to go back and research on and just get more information on that.
You know, I think he's a good kid. I think that he's young. I think that he needs a little bit more life experience to see what economies do under certain administrations and what they do under another.
Just to clarify, I don't believe that women get to high positions by sleeping to the top. There are plenty of women that do work hard to get to where they need to go, myself included. You know, lots of friends and family that I know, and so many women around the globe. They work so hard every single day to get to where they are, even with the disadvantages that they are given. But we were specifically discussing Kamala Harris's character. She is not one of them.
I think it's valuable, but at the same time, I felt like both sides were talking to a wall. I don't think he felt like he was being listened to, and same with us. We don't feel like that. We were listened to.
I think this experience has.
You never engage with him at all.
Valuable. Whenever you get people to just come and sit and discuss these hard issues, I think that's a win. You know, this is going to be on the internet. People are going to watch this, and hopefully this sparks discussion in their lives and in their communities. And so, in that way, I definitely think this was a good conversation to have.
Wild.